Were there some bad calls in the first half? Absolutely. Were the Knicks fans losing their damn minds like babies? 100%. Will was. He was literally like the arena. I was worried about the referees making it out alive, okay? The way that Madison Square Garden had decided that their real enemy wasn't the Spurs, but actually the referees was wild to watch. In my personal news, I ended the broadcast last night. As you guys know, Will was inebriated. He came over here and he beat my ass. And he demanded that we go to Madison Square Garden, which we did. We had dumped a decent amount of money for these seats that weren't like technically nosebleed seats, but they weren't great either. It was like a weird angle. It was like a weird, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a weird angle. Okay. Did you say hi to Taylor? Yeah, no, I did not. I didn't. I was not mentioned in the celebrities that were invited. I was not mentioned in the celebrities that were invited to watch the game list either. It was a strange vantage point. Here, I'll show you. I think I took a photo of it, didn't I? Oh wait, we didn't post it, but I guess you can kind of tell from this angle. It's like behind one of the baskets, but like not exactly behind, but just like not in the center. But here, March posted it. This was our angle. So it's not like terrible, but it's also not. It was actually a lot better than I thought we were gonna get, because I thought we were gonna be nosebleeds, like literally at the top. But Madison Square Garden is incredible. Its layout is so good, and I will say it's probably the best basketball. It's definitely the best basketball game I will ever watch for the rest of my life. Yeah, it wasn't an ideal seat, but I will say Madison Square Garden, the vibes were exceptional even before basketball history was made. It's unlike the Staples cryptocurrency arena. It's not like, I've been to many Lakers games, right? You guys know this. MSG is a totally different demon. Okay, you got the lasers up top. The vibes were insane. Maybe it's because it's the finals, but I mean, it was an exceptional experience. I had similar seats on the other side of the arena for Game 3. It should have been me there in Game 4 instead of you. Yeah, well, sucks to suck for all of you. Do you want the mic? Here, I'll give it to you. Hold on. There you go. There's some people in the room right now. They're shooting a documentary. But they're leaving. But yeah, the vibes were completely out of control. Biggest comeback in NBA history. Does anyone have the other? Does anyone have the other video of our vibes when we first got in? When March was like, "I brought my kids to the game." I love when our data nerd Jules Nader has done the data, crunch the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. He crunched the numbers. The Spurs absolutely collapsed in the second half. Biggest choke I've ever seen. Yeah, as you guys know, for the record, as you guys know. Everyone say thank you right now.
Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. The Knicks in 5, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread.
So, yeah, this was us. This was us. There were many HasanAbi heads, by the way, around us. And then there were some HasanAbi enemies around us, too. Enemies of socialism, enemies of the working class. Maybe some cop-coded Knicks fans that happened to be right in front of us that were like, "Oh, what is that T-shirt?" Because I was wearing the Mom Donaldson T-shirt, and someone was like, "That's not my mayor," and then we found out they're from Long Island, which is, I mean, literally, that's not your mayor, so you don't have to worry about that at all, But by the end of the night, we were all expressing camaraderie and comradely behavior as the Knicks brought it back. And what a fucking game it was.
I hate Wendy's. Look, I'm wearing the appropriate merchandise. I love the Knicks. I love the New York Knickerbockers.
He's not one of us, him.
No, I love the Knicks. Go Knicks, Knicks in 5.
He's also Muslim.
That's the one thing.
Yeah, so this was our vantage point. And pretty decent seats overall, nothing to write home about, but it's not terrible either. And it cost a grip, let's be real. But here's the thing. The Knicks Kafia is insane. I will tell you this, okay? And I hope Will attest to this if he's honest. I know March will. The entire game, okay? The entire game, I was sitting there as Will was contemplating suicide, okay? I was sitting there literally telling him over and over again, it doesn't matter. They're going to bring it back and they're going to win. Even when they were losing by 29 points, I was like, dude, I know this sounds like a LeBron story, but I'm so glad that there are other people out there who can attest to this. I just kept repeatedly telling them over and over again, you're freaking out. And I know you want to kill yourself right now, but if you kill yourself now, you're going to miss out on the Knicks bringing this back. And I was right. And the reason why I was right, the reason why I said the Knicks were going to bring it back is because they've always brought it back, no matter what the gap looks like, because they are like piranhas, okay? And let's be real, the Spurs team is too young and is not clutch and cannot deal. When they lose their confidence, they lose everything. The whole team falls apart, and we watched it unfold in real time. All it took was for them to cut the lead down by like 5 or 6, and from that point on, it was a wrap. I personally never thought that the Spurs were winning, even when it was plus 29, plus 30, which, by the way, is literally a record-breaking lead. No away team in NBA Finals history, with the exception of the bubble, has ever had a 29-point lead on an away game. It was historic. By halftime, it was already NBA history. And for me, I knew all it would take for the Spurs to bring out the choke point, because they are choke artists, okay? To start choking was brick a couple three-pointers, okay? Have the Knicks eat away slowly but surely at the comfortable lead that they had for the first 3 quarters of the goddamn game. And it was a wrap from that point on. Spurs scored 76 points in the first half and 30 in the second half. 76 points. They were shooting at almost an 80% from the three-point line. Do you understand how insane that is? They were at like 78% for the first half from the three-point line. And then they got reversed. It was disgusting. And I'll tell you something. Okay, I'll tell you something right now. Were there some bad calls in the first half? Absolutely. Were the Knicks fans losing their damn minds like babies? 100%. Will was. He was literally like the arena. I was worried about the referees making it out alive, okay? The way that Madison Square Garden had decided that the real enemy wasn't the Spurs, but actually the referees, was wild to watch. Okay? And no, I don't think Towns got robbed. I think Towns hooked Wemby's arm. I don't think that was a crazy call. I know that was like a big call in contention, and everyone was like, dude, that's bullshit. He literally hooked him. He had his arm, he grabbed his arm in between his armpits on his way up to the basket. That's a normal call. Like, that's not that crazy of a call. There were definitely, the goaltending one was crazy. That was absolutely wrong, right? The goaltending call was wrong. I mean, that straight up was goaltending. Okay, Cornette should have been hit with goaltending on that one. That was goaltending. Fair is fair. I'm calling balls and strikes. Now, we all know there were numerous instances where the Spurs franchise was seen to be a fraudulent franchise. Okay. Yeah, Kyle texted me as well, and he was so weak. He was so weak-willed that he missed the greatest comeback in NBA history. Yeah. In any case, can you show Will's reaction at the end of the game? He was so happy. No, he was losing his mind, dude. He was like, please God, please God. And by the way, he shouldn't have been pleading to God. He should have been pleading to Fox because that's what bricked it at the end, okay? And if it wasn't for him, the outcome could have been so different. If it wasn't for him and OG, the outcome would have been so different. Isn't that crazy? In those final moments, every second matters, and we'll obviously play it. But yeah, they chopped that lead down in the third quarter. Really, they chopped that lead down dramatically. I mean, look at the points by quarter. You know, by the end of the first half, they had 76 points to the New York Knicks' 27. It was an insane lead. By the end of the third quarter, the Knicks have put up 26. 27, sorry, 49 to 76. They put up 26 points in Q3, the Knicks did. And the Spurs put up only 14 and then only 16 in Q4 as the motherfucking Knicks went crazy mode. They went bananas mode, okay? They went absolutely nutty mode. They were nutted on them. They were nutting, okay? They were shitting. They were farting. They were nutting on the Spurs. It was choke time. It was choke central. It was choke city. This is what happens when you have a young team that are inexperienced, okay? Yeah, Spurs blew their load too early. They were exceptional in the first half. What an incredible game of basketball this was. First half of the game, they were playing demonic style, the Spurs were. They were so fucking confident. They were so cocky, you know? I think it was OG that fucking choke slammed Wemby, like elbowed him in the neck. Wemby fell on the ground, started clapping, said, "I'm in your head. I'm in your head." It turns out the Knicks were down, but they were not out. Yeah, that "I'm in your head" shit is going to fucking haunt them forever. Yeah, Josh Hart, no.
In the pick and roll. They keep trying to bring him up. Now Klein can attack. Bucks throws it away. Josh Hart ahead of
This literally, like, look at this. 104, 103. 2 minutes remaining. This lob, this miss, would have been immortalized if it wasn't for Fox. Okay? Like, this would have literally been, he would have been the Fox of the fucking Knicks. Miss layup. Look at Larry David, by the way.
Oh, he missed the layup.
Look at Larry David in the background. Look. Watch. He's right there. Look. He almost died, bro. You almost killed Larry David, bro. You almost killed him. Larry David has never felt that excited in his whole damn life, dude. You can't be making him respond to things that fast. Yeah. This straight up, if it wasn't for OG and if it wasn't for Fox, this is the career killer for Hart. Also, I got to say, shouts out to the Swagapinos. Pinoy Gang put up insane numbers. Okay? Pinoy Gang carried the fuck out of this shit on the Spurs side. Respect. Anyway, how about that game ticket switch up? You lucked out, go to decision. What do you mean? Oh, from G3 to G4? Yeah. No, yeah, I know. We could have gone and watched the most ass game of all time. And instead, we watched the best game of all time. One of the greatest. I cannot believe that I was in the room for one of the greatest NBA Finals games that will literally probably take decades to fucking to have anything similar, like a comparable experience. But goddamn OG, man, he's so fucking good. I mean, he was lethal. He was lethal on the 3-point line. He was fucking lethal with the key blocks. I mean, he had so many incredible moments, dude. Holy fucking shit, he had so many incredible moments. It was exceptional gameplay. It was fantastic to watch. Respect to OG. But yeah, New York City, Trump cancels Iran strikes, Iran, America, Israel, oil prices rise, New York DSA slate rally tonight, FC's Fury, 104, Knicks win, get in now. But yeah, watching Will go through the motions like that was so funny, I'm not going to lie. I mean, he went from suicidal to the happiest guy on the planet. What a difference fucking 12 minutes make. in the lives of someone. You witness an all-timer that may never be touched in our lifetimes. I know. You still haven't shown Will's reaction. Hold on, I'm blasting off, dude. Apparently, Moist Critical did a Ethan Klein lawsuit video as well. There's been 80 games in the playoffs so far. That's 320 quarters. The Spurs in the third quarter are the only team this playoffs to not have a single point in the paint. Yeah. Do we have the blast off? Do we have the? I mean, dude, this was the environment in the fucking room. Did Will get to know all the people all around you? Yes, dude. I mean, when you're in that situation, it's everyone's family, okay? Look, there's one more video of him fucking losing his damn mind. People were trying to take photos with him. Like, they didn't know who he was. They just, like, thought he was a super fan. I mean, he is a super fan. But they were just stoked. OG HasanAbi, you can fuck my bitch.
I don't trust that bitch. You go fuck my bitch. Let me fuck your bitch. I don't love that bitch. I don't trust that.
I will never forgive you for making Emma cry. Okay, that's crazy. An airplane almost crashed? What do you mean? Oh my God. Thank God the whole plane is watching, so they knew exactly what was going on. If the Knicks pull this off in 5, it'll be redemption for the 99 finals with the same cadence. Yeah, bro, Fox got to retire for a bit. Darren Adolf Joseph Fox Hitler, nicknamed Choke, a 20-point lead. 29-point lead, is a German-American professional basketball player. That's crazy. I mean, that definitely was inappropriate. Okay. Anyway, here, I'll start here. I got to go pee real quick.
Madness at the Mecca.
That's it. It's over. The greatest comeback in NBA playoff history.
This morning, the Knicks mounting the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history.
Brunson gets it, fires up a three. Shot no good. The tip is gone.
Down 29 points.
The hand of God. The hand of God, dude. The tip. The godlike tip. A miracle.
3-1 in the series. It was a disastrous start for New York. San Antonio dominating with 14 threes in the first half.
And nails it. The cell corner three. It's good. Parker, three-pointer. That's good. Another three.
The most in finals history.
Fox has to shoot and knocks it down. Everything going in.
Victor Wembanyama playing some of the best basketball of his career in the first half. Clearly getting into the heads of the Knicks players. Wemby taking an elbow to the head from Mitchell Robinson, then clapping at the move.
And an offensive foul called down this zone.
Leading the Spurs into halftime with a 27-point lead, the Knicks with a 0.4 chance of winning. The Garden stunned into silence.
That is the look of shock.
But the Knicks not giving up.
Series HasanAbi with the flush.
Coming back in the second half with something to prove.
Alley-oop to Robinson.
Chipping away at the Spurs lead, going on a 13-0 run.
Three, it's good.
The Brunson burner hitting overdrive. Captain clutch Jalen Brunson scoring 36 points.
It's good. The Knicks take the lead.
The Knicks taking the first lead of the night with less than 2 minutes to go. But it was OG with the OMG at MSG, passing in the ball with 5.7 seconds on the clock. Brunson shoots a long three, and OG HasanAbi tipping in the winning basket.
It's a game of runs. We believe in ourselves. We've come back before. We're battle tested. We're mentally, we're tough. We're a resilient group.
Madison Square Garden erupting, the ground shaking. Celebrity Row just as stunned as the rest of us. Players embracing the moment and each other. Fans at watch parties across the Big Apple exploding.
We did it! We were so amazing! New York did it!
The U.S. men's soccer team taking a break from training for the World Cup to watch the winning moment. Spike Lee couldn't contain his joy. And Taylor Swift celebrating with fans after the game. Timothy Chalamet also getting in on the action. A sea of orange and blue filling the streets of Gotham from the buildings to the people.
One word that captures.
It was fucking crazy outside, by the way. When they say New York City, we outside, I saw it. I saw it with my own damn two motherfucking eyes, okay? The hand of OG edit, yeah, it was exceptional. It was history. It was history in the fucking making, dude. Straight up. Bro, you showed up on TV for a couple of seconds? No, I didn't. That's really funny, though, that you think that happened. Ain't nobody knows where the fuck I was sitting. Ain't nobody gives a shit. I am not a fucking celebrity, okay? I'm washed. Yeah, this is outside. How do you let him get a clean path to crash? Brother, that was Fox. It was Fox again. He just stood and waited. He didn't try to box out OG at all. No, literally, like he was genuinely demonic. Some saw it inside. Wait, what do you mean?
I wonder if they're just going to take him right to the fucking line and force him to earn it at the line. I bet they are. Holy. Oh. Down. Wait. Oh, Knicks fucking buzzer.
The fuck is this? What is this clip? Evacuation Neff?
Flooded. The floor is eating all of the present denizens.
What? Okay.
A piece of that.
I can't believe she cried. I was so scared. There was a published list of celebs, and one of your HasanAbi themed Twitter people shared it. You weren't on it? No, I know. Darren Fox sold the game right after that French baguette got shook at the free throw line. Dude, that was incredible, by the way. I cannot believe Wembanyama couldn't make both of his fucking free throws. That was devastating. But I'm telling you, dude, if you were in that room, I don't know how if it translated to the television screens or not, but it was literally a presence, dude. It was an immensely threatening aura. There was an immensely threatening fucking aura in the room. His knees were trembling, buddy. That was crazy. Jake Shane makes the list, but not streamer Will Neff and Hassan Piker. I know.
Let's go through every dog shit play that De'Aaron Fox made in the second half. Just a head-scratching pass by the little fella here. Then 60 seconds later, Fox, who should be the last person on planet Earth doing a James Harden dribble, step back shot, does that. So Fox actually gets taken out of.
It is kind of crazy how much he fucking sold, dude. It is crazy. Like, he was at the scene of every crime. Dr. Hassam Jihad Parker, millionaire homeowner, not as well liked as Alveus Sanctuary, and fourth best host of Fear End podcast. We condemn. That's crazy.
Greatness.
After that shot, he checks back in with a minute left. And what in the actual fuck is that pass? And then the very next possession, at the end of the third quarter, Fox.
I think an investigation is in order to see if there was actual, like, I don't understand it. It was not just like a regular choke, man. It was far beyond it. It was unlike anything I've ever seen. Like, did he have a Kelce parlay or something? Like, what the fuck was it? What the hell was going on? Like, this requires an investigation. The amount of like egregious errors. I mean, 2 is fine. One is gonna happen. 2, all right, like it's unexpected. 3, we're talking, what the fuck? This is irredeemable. 4, you need to be ejected from the league. And he had like 5 or 6 in a row in direct succession, one after another. In a matter of like a minute. And some of the most egregious ones were in the last 10 to 12 seconds. It makes no sense.
Again, dribble. Right off the foot and out of bounds. And then there's
succession. Shut up. I fucked up my words. Shut up.
Possession right here. 3 minutes left. 4-point game. Imagine this being your possession. This is the biggest play of the game. Fox is having a family barbecue. Dribbling the ball off his foot. No rush at all. Oh, shit. There's only 6 seconds left in the shot clock. And then you got to play everyone and their grandma are talking about.
Dude, I mean, this is completely unacceptable. Okay? Literally, all you need to do is grab and hold. Dribble around the court. That's all you need to do in this situation. You just grab and you dribble around the fucking court and you get fouled. That's it.
He has a breakaway. He can't outrun OG NOT. He can't dribble out the clock. He decides to go up and he gets swatted And then on the final possession of the game, my voice is cooked right now. Fox is on Anunoby. Wemby is on...
this is the other side of that story. I mean, he literally let OG Anunoby shine, okay? He ate the block, and then he turned around.
Brunson. Fox then decides to help Wemby. He doubles Brunson. No one's on Anunoby. End up, maybe, yes, maybe, that will be your winning.
God damn, Unc, can we get the politics, my dude? Man, shut your bitch ass up. This is one of the most important piece of news that took place, and I got to fucking experience it in real time, okay? Anyway, and yeah, greatness happened. Magic happened there, and I was there to witness it. I have the fucking commemorative ticket right here. Okay, I got the commemorative ticket right here. NBA Finals Game 4, Wednesday, June 10, Madison Square Garden. This is shit that you tell your children about, okay? What a night. What a fucking night, dude. And yeah, I got a towel as well, and I gave the towel to Emma earlier. And she cried.
A piece of that greatness that I brought for you.
Are you for real?
From the actual finals. Is it upside down?
I like legit might cry.
Oh my God, you're crazy.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're crazy.
It's so funny to say might cry as you're crying.
I mean, I'm not, it hasn't come out yet, but, you know, like, I burst into tears last night. Like, I just couldn't believe what it means to the city. And my husband is like, was calling into WFAN as a 12 and 13-year-old boy, like debating about the Knicks. I mean, it's in his heart. And so, like, what
She crowed. She crowed. We crowed. We crowed. Okay? She cried. I cried. We crowed.
This means to me. I have this T-shirt. Maybe I'll pull it out. I don't want to be superstitious, but it says honorary ball kid on it because when I was 11 or so, I got pulled onto the floor.
Free tickets for celebrities. Charles Barkley, how long have you actually been a season ticket holder? I don't have a season ticket. I just get the tickets. The celebrities, the Knicks, gave us the tickets.
You've shown our show
watching you guys
all these years.
forever.
But you like a real fan. Like a lot of these other freeloaders, they just showing up because the Knicks are doing good. How long have you actually been a season ticket holder?
I don't have a season ticket. I get the tickets.
I think he's joking, by the way. I'm pretty sure he is a season ticket holder. He is. I'm almost certain. I think he's joking, but he's not joking when like some celebrities do get tickets. Celebrities are invited, not your boy, okay? Just make no mistake, okay? Ain't nobody thinks I'm a celebrity. I just want to let it be known we were not even on the fucking celeb list, okay? We were not on that list. So before you get it in your mind,
The celebrity, they give us the tickets.
Man, stop lying.
I don't think I could afford the Knicks season ticket front row. No, I'm lucky. No, I think it's because I've been coming for so long, you know, that they feel I'm a loyal fan. Our family's been.
I thought Ben Stiller and Spike Lee were the only two celebs that actually pay for their tickets. He's not joking. The guy he sits next to gives him the tickets. Who? Spike Lee?
Coming forever, so I'm lucky enough to get that. And but I've been coming since, I mean, I probably had 1974.
Wow.
I remember.
Draymond was not born.
Yeah. I mean, with my dad, you know, meeting the Knicks. I remember when I was 8, 9 years old being here. Yeah, you know where they are.
Yeah, this dude's been watching the Knicks since like he was 8. Like Timothy Chalamet as well. Like that Timothy Chalamet is like a real fan. For people. There are certainly a lot of celebrities who are, you know, I guess on the Knicks bandwagon. I normally probably wouldn't go to this game if it wasn't for Will. I was there for Will. I made a promise to him that we would months ago when it was not like when way before the Knicks were in the playoffs. I told Will that I would go watch him. Watch the Knicks in Madison Square Garden with them. So, you know, it just happened to be the greatest fucking game of all time. But like there are a lot of celebrities that are bandwagon fans. It's just funny because like all of his teams have been ass his whole lifetime. I mean, it's the Jets and the Knicks, right? So like this is a remarkable turn of events for him. Did you see Larry David had to sit next to McEnroe and John was high-fiving Wemby every time he came off? Could be a great episode for Kerr for sure. Yeah, this was also March's first ever NBA game. Isn't that crazy? First and last. I mean, it's over. You can't top this.
Hey, Ben, you're not a fair weather fan because number one, thank you for the love you show on our show.
Watching you guys.
Jerry Seinfeld doing the most after the game.
But he's on SNL, I think. That guy's on SNL. Very something, man. They're coming in hot. Please. That guy's on SNL, right? That's the old dude. Oh, Jerry Seinfeld. What up, Seinfeld? What up? Can we get a free Palestine? Can we get a free Palestine? Come on, give us one free Palestine.
It doesn't exist.
Gross. I don't even think this guy knew that Seinfeld is like a vicious anti-Palestine celebrity. Like, that's what makes it so funny. He's like, I think this guy's on SNL. Like, this dude had no fucking idea. Also, how are you worse than a kick streamer? Like, straight up, objectively, a far worse person than the kick streamer in this situation. I don't know anything about this guy. I just know that he streams on Kick, as evidenced by the fact that it says Kick right there. But he's clearly a far better person than Jerry Seinfeld is. Maple takes. Jerry likes to ignore the existence of things he doesn't like age of consent laws. Got his ass. He definitely knew, man. That's why he asked him. You don't randomly ask that. No, I think he fucking asked it because he didn't know who he was. Bro, he said, I think that guy's from SNL. The cutie switch teams since Taylor was repping the Knicks? I don't know. Jerry's in a good mood because Mamdani let his girlfriend stay up past bedtime. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's devastating.
That all is just believe.
He believed, and now New York believes. After the game, Knicks coach Mike Brown and Karl Anthony Towns both said that luck played a role here, saying sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you have to make your own luck. I think New York fans are feeling very...
Yeah, luck, as in his name is De'Aaron Fox. Okay, that's the luck. I mean, things worked. Look, they created a situation where it was a 1-point game. So obviously that's the major factor here. They played their fucking heart and soul out, and then Fox pushed them over the finish line straight up, like almost single-handedly. It's unbelievable. I cannot believe it. I haven't seen a blown lead that bad since Trump and Israel attacked Iran first, killed the Ayatollah, and still lost the war. Oh my God. His name is Brick Fox. The first primary candidate in Maine history to receive 150,000 votes. Yeah. What a crazy game, man. Are we going to get the totally uninformed HasanAbi World Cup bracket? Yeah, I don't have any opinion on the World Cup. I don't know anything. Hopefully the Iranian team does well. They deserve it. That's it. I hope they do decent. Probably not, but this is so evil, man. Seriously, Fox needs to be investigated. There's no way a man that's been in the league for almost a decade does that. Disgusting, sickening. Remove him from the roster and league. Unk not even cheering for Turkey. I mean, I am. Breaking Mamdani news. Oh, yeah, I saw this. They have to travel to California from Mexico for every game. None of their staff is allowed, and they can't move from Arizona to Mexico because of visa issues. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Fox was clutch. Just for the opposition.
That was a bananas comeback, and while most fans were just celebrating with joy, there were some in the crowd that filled the blocks here outside Madison Square Garden that just could not control themselves. Fans poured into the streets, climbing on the scaffolding or hoisting themselves into the bucket of a lift to egg on the crowd. And some Knicks fans showed up at the hotel where the Spurs are staying and appeared to throw actual eggs at Victor Wembanyama.
Bro, they sniped his ass. It was shameful. As you guys know, and I stand by this, I love Wemby, okay? He choked. He's 22. He's going to get better as time goes on, okay? This is a muscle that he has to build. It's clear from the finals games that he has played in every single time. They are a hot and cold team. The Spurs, when they lose their streak, and it's really tough because the Knicks are the streakiest fucking team I've ever seen in my life. Okay? When they go on a tear, they're like fucking vicious piranhas. Okay? It's insane. And they break the confidence of... I feel like they could break the confidence of a veteran team. But certainly, a team so green like the Spurs, they can't handle it at all. They can't handle it at all. Once that fucking streak starts, once they started cutting away at the lead, it was over. I will say this, though. It was, he got domed. He got domed by that egg. Whoever tossed that motherfucking egg, dude. Holy shit.
Your fans picked fights. They set off fireworks and smoke bombs, stomped on taxis and damaged police vehicles. Officers on horseback arrived to control the crowd and enforce what's supposed to be a secure zone around the arena. The NYPD said there were some officers that sustained injuries, and there were dozens.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Look at this. Look. Bro, that's crazy. Bro, I'm crying. That shit hit him square in the dome. Now he got to walk of shame back into his hotel room with egg yolk dripping down his neck. I mean, it is... Look at this, bro. Look at this. Look, it's coming. Straight, dude, to the top. Like, right square center, dude. Look at this thing. It hit the pole. Wait, it didn't? I think you guys are... Man, I think you guys are coping. He literally ducked. He literally ducked right as it hit. I think you guys are coping. Other angle, it hits the pole. This is why New York fans deserve nothing. That's cope. That's cope. That's cope. That's cope. I mean, that's just...
Of arrests. They're still sorting out the arrest this morning, guys. Although most of the fans behave pretty well and are just psyched and bleary-eyed this morning. Guys.
Yes, and some of them are probably running late for work right now, and we approve. Aaron, thank you.
This is enemy territory. Watch yourself. I mean, dude, I think I'll be fine. You know? Dude, LA fans are twice as bad. Oh, that's bullshit. AP says it nearly hit. Anyway, I still think it's unacceptable, but it looked like a clean hit. Also, dude, I've never felt safer in a fucking crowd than surrounded by Knicks fans. Are you kidding me? I thought that people would smell that I had any sympathies towards Wembanyama at all. And no, half the fucking crowd was HasanAbi heads. What are you talking about? There were more fucking Knicks fans that were HasanAbi heads than in LA. There were Lakers fans. I told you this already in my experience. Like, most of the fans that came up to me after the Lakers game was Oklahoma fans. MJ and LeBron couldn't be the best player on a championship team until they were 27, 28 years old. Winning as the best player of a squad that young almost never happened. Shaq was 28. I think Jordan was... How old was Jordan? Shaq was 28. Giannis was 26. Wemby crumbling like this isn't surprising at all. Yes. Address this dirty-ass Wemby play. I mean, okay, can I say something? Like, if we're looking at any sort of parity here, I think the Knicks played very, very dirty this game as well. I mean, it's pretty crazy to fucking point to you know what Wemby was. Dude, are you kidding me? They were going for his knees, brother. They were literally, prove it? No, they straight up, dog, they were straight up going for his knees. I never seen anything like that. There were instances where it was not a box out at all. There were literally instances where they were just, like Alvarado, I saw it with my own two eyes. I saw him straight up pick himself up and try to fucking hit his kneecaps. Give me the clip.
Watch.
Look, in one 10-second clip, Alvarado gave Wemby a two-handed push, tried to trip him, tried to hook his leg, tried to foul back into him, then finished with a single leg takedown. Lamau even. Look at this.
This is on the
two-hand push.
But Karl Anthony Towns can tell
try to take his leg.
Get out. He has plenty of time.
Hooks him. Falls. This is the worst part, though. Okay? He falls, right? As he's trying to push him off, he falls. He gets up. Doesn't even try to attempt to make it seem like it's a center mass hit at all. Look at this. I've never seen anything like that, man. Come on. He hugged his nutsack, bro. Look at this. Two hands clasped. Are you fucking kidding me? Really? You're gonna be like, oh, Wemby was playing real dirty. This is one of the craziest things I've ever fucking encountered. I didn't see nothing. He fell.
And then he just grabs his leg.
Yeah. That's payback for last game on Brunson? No, payback was when fucking OG literally decked him in the neck with a straight elbow punch. That was payback. The fuck are you guys talking about? He literally fucking yammed him. Yeah, I saw this. If Alvarado does this to Wemby tonight, I'll buy his jersey.
Yeah, we know Jose's not going to back down.
Oh, it wasn't OG? It was Mitch? My bad. It was MAGA Mitch. He was scratching his nose. It was MAGA Mitch Robinson. Yeah, oh yeah. Look.
Do about that if you're Mitchell Robinson, but you can see right here, Wemmy's telling him, I'm in your head as he's going down the floor. This is what got Mitchell Robinson upset, so he's just going to come down and he's going to deliver a shot right there.
That's come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Been upset, so he's just going to come down and he's going to deliver a shot.
Barely touched him. Come on, dog. That shit literally connected. What the fuck are you talking about? That's like concussion territory. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Bro put his UFC gloves on to get to work. Barely touched. I didn't see shit. That's just clean basketball from the Knicks. He was getting a bug off Wemby's face. You can see the vibrations. Yeah, that's a love tap in the way that Donald Trump calls blowing up water reservoirs in southern Iran a love tap. More MAGA behavior, more MAGA activities, it seems.
So he's just going to come down and he's going to...
Bro, it's also so funny because it's like he clearly... There's no... Like, he leaves no room for like a different order of events where he just straight up extends his fucking arm. That wasn't Mitch, that was AI. Anyway, yeah, it was a great game overall, though. It was a great game overall. And before we get to Iran, more New York W's. Exclusive, Mayor Zohran Mamdani is launching a limited run of affordable New York City-inspired World Cup jerseys. Motzi Sports, a family-owned apparel studio in Brooklyn. We got some new polls. New poll alert. Defending Mitchell Hogginson is crazy work. It's not that crazy. It's just how fandom works. The Spurs know how to take the lead. They just don't know how to hold the lead. And that's really the most important part of the lead, the holding. Yeah. By the way, it is kind of beast mode that the NBA just posted the full uncut 6-minute ending. Pretty good night in Ridgewood. Fuck selling the game for Netanyahu.
Only have gotten that idea from Benjamin Netanyahu.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, he could have only gotten that idea from Benjamin Netanyahu. That's true. Anyway, what else was I going to show you? Oh, yeah. So that was the beginning of the game, and this was Will in the end of the game. They didn't even escort the people out, by the way, which is crazy. They just like let people people celebrate. That was cool too. I did show Wemby getting hit with the fucking egg. Begging for attention? What is this?
You think you're holier than thou is the main problem.
You not welcome, lady.
And your man's a pedophile. He likes underage kids.
Jesus Christ. Schumer endorsed Haley. Why are you sad about that? You should be ecstatic. You should be fucking ecstatic about that. That's a good thing. This was the outside. Yo, the guards that escort people was busy celebrating. Anyway, yeah. What a night. What a fucking night, dude. Does Austin not like basketball? No, he thought the Knicks was a baseball team, brother. He does not fuck with basketball at all. But also, it was so expensive that we didn't feel like we should force him to get a ticket. You know what I mean? Because if you're not in any way, shape, or form invested in basketball, there's a crazy ticket to fucking purchase, especially from that weird ass angle that we're watching it too. You know what I mean? Like weird ass angle, crazy expensive ticket. You don't even understand what you're seeing. Like you're not even gonna fucking appreciate it at all. It makes sense for him not to show up to that. Can you recommend a socialist political streamer of Turkish origin that discusses the United States political climate? I thought you were one, but clearly this is a sports channel. Oh my God. Oh my God, brother. Jesus Christ. Let me have a moment, dude. I mean, this is a historic event. And yes, I bought, for the record, I did buy a Ewing jersey, and also I got a Knicks hat, and we got the Knicks keffiyeh, obviously, which this is a prized possession. This is the woke ESPN channel. Yeah. Can you pose with it like you just got drafted? Oh, you mean like with the jersey? Like this? So dope. Just uh, 67th pick overall. Yeah. Stop LARPing, Wemby fan. I mean, dude, what do you mean? I literally have this exact same hat, or rather stole it from Noah, if you recall. And I used to wear it all the time, and then I had to give it back to him. So I was like, I'm gonna get the same exact hat that I already Prohibition era suit, my boy. Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, that would have been the last time they would have allowed someone like someone with my level of skill into the NBA, and even then, probably not. Anyway. All right, now let's get to the news. Okay, I know a lot of you are like, come on, get to the news, man, and which we will. New U.S. strikes on Iran as Trump speaks out on escalating tensions. And as of this morning, Trump has officially declared the Iran strikes. He says that Tehran finally got their act together and will concede to American interests. I don't know how reliable an orator Trump is on these events. So, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. But put the news in the bag, little bro. Let's get started.
Overnight, U.S. ships and fighter jets launching a wave of attacks targeting Iranian air defenses, surveillance, and communication systems. The president telling Fox News that 49 Tomahawk missiles struck Iran's southwest coast. And the administration now warning Iran that if they don't sign a peace agreement, the U.S. will hammer them again.
If we need to negotiate with bombs, we'll negotiate with bombs.
Instead, Iran has fired back, again launching its own missiles at U.S. bases in Kuwait and Bahrain. All the missiles intercepted, but debris damaging homes, vehicles, and causing minor injuries to a child in Bahrain. These latest attacks come less than 24 hours after U.S. fighter jets struck nearly 20 targets, including Iranian air defense and radar systems near the Strait of Hormuz. Iran releasing unverified video claiming to show the strikes also damaged critical civilian water reservoirs.
Oh, unverified video. So it's probably fake, guys. But also, just to be safe, maybe this was critical infrastructure that was aiding and abetting the IRGC. You know? It's probably fake. America would never hit civilian infrastructure, except for when we do. And then the very same media outlets will turn around and say, well, don't you feel like it was supposed to crippled the drinking water that might make its way to the IRGC. It's Hamas water. It's Hezbollah water. It's water that the IRGC is drinking.
CENTCOM saying they are looking into the report. The U.S. strikes were launched in retaliation.
Yeah, by the way, is it really that strange to assume that America is deliberately targeting civilian infrastructure when the president is openly saying that America is deliberately targeting civilian infrastructure? Is it really that strange? Like, that's our posture. That's literally what we're saying we are doing. So perhaps it's not that strange.
For Iran downing a U.S. Apache helicopter. But the latest strikes intended to pressure Iran, with President Trump growing increasingly impatient.
They keep tapping us along. They keep playing us for suckers.
While these strikes fall short of resuming all-out war.
Also, a heads up, 49 Tomahawk missiles are launched yesterday. It cost a total of $178 million for missiles alone on the conservative end. Yeah. And also the fact that we're still using standoff munitions that we're depleting that are already in critically low supply, standoff munitions that are designed specifically for our near peer and peer adversaries like Russia and China, implies that we don't have complete air superiority over Iranian soil. And once again is another point that suggests that the American military capabilities are nowhere near as great as people previously thought they were, and that they haven't been able to make the significant military achievements. They haven't been able to generate the significant military achievements that they thought they would. They haven't achieved their objectives at all. So, because remember, we have an abundance of gravity munitions, guided, unguided, that we could be dropping on Iranian soil. But that would require flights over Iranian territory, and they're not doing that. And the reason for why they're not doing that is because they're worried about fences, loitering munitions. Iranian standoff capabilities are far better than what America and Israel previously predicted them to be. Obviously, they have a unique mobile system that they deploy when they find it to be necessary. And once again, it's already ridiculous that we're talking about negotiating with bombs. That's not how you negotiate at all.
That is certainly possible. The Iranians now calling the ceasefire meaningless, and the region once again bracing for what may come next. Lindsay?
Disappointment for any hope of diplomacy. Martha Raddatz in Jerusalem for us. Thank you, Martha.
With you in a little bit. We want to bring you some breaking news, though, and that is that in the last few minutes, the U.S. President Donald Trump has taken to his Truth Social platform, and he has posted the following: based on the fact that discussions with the Islamic Republic of Iran have been brought to the highest level of Iranian leadership and approved, I have, as President of the United States of America, canceled the scheduled strikes and bombings against Iran this evening. Discussions and final points have been in both concept and great detail approved by all parties involved. And then he goes on to say the blockade will remain in full effect until it's finalized shortly. Let's go to our White House correspondent, Kimberly Halkett. Kimberly, I mean, is this what we expected at all from tonight? What more are we hearing from the White House on this?
Well, we're not hearing anything more from the White House. The U.S. president is the messenger. So what we have heard, though, in the last hour is that there was a lot of effort going on with regard to diplomacy. In fact, the U.S. State Department saying that Secretary Rubio, as well as the U.S. president, have been engaged and remain engaged directly in sort of diplomacy. And so as a result, even though the U.S. president was threatening for there to be a third night of strikes against Iran, that he would hit them very hard, it was clear that what he was doing was trying to get some sort of concession. Now, obviously, that hasn't happened from Iran, but what has happened is that there has been an enormous amount of diplomatic involvement that has taken place, not just by the United States, but also by the U.S. as Arab partners, as well as others that have been in direct contact with Iran. So we're waiting to see what more the White House might have to say about this. But I have to tell you that this action by the U.S. president's not unprecedented. We know that back in his first term, he was threatening strikes on Iran and then just called them off minutes before the launch on June 20th of 2019. He approved retaliatory strikes after Iran shot down a U.S. drone and then canceled them roughly 10 minutes before impact. So it's clear that the U.S. president will, if he believes.
Yeah, so the American president, Donald Trump, is claiming that a deal is imminent, right? Iran is, of course, predictably disputing it. Here's the Hormuz letter. Breaking, Iran directly rejects Trump's new claims that they reached an agreement to cancel tonight's strikes on Iran, as basically saying no agreement has been approved at all, and all of Trump's words should be disregarded like all his previous 38 times deal imminent announcements over 2 months, per Tasnim news agency. A senior Israeli official also tells Channel 12 that they are not aware of any agreement being reached. Drop site reports Trump to press defense industry leaders on weapons production as missile stockpiles are shrinking amid the Iran war. Wait, where's the other? Fars news agency says no text on the initial memorandum of understanding with the United States has been approved. A source close to the Islamic Republic of Iran's negotiating team told Fars. An hour earlier, the U.S. president had claimed in a message on the Truth Social network that Iran had agreed at the highest level to a text for an initial memorandum of understanding. Minutes later, in similar statements to the American newspaper, the New York Post, he said that the text in question had been summarized. Trump's claim comes as Iran and the United States endured one of their most intense clashes since the ceasefire was announced on Thursday morning. Fars news agency, given that the United States has accepted Iran's proposed text, the likelihood of the agreement being approved by Tehran's highest decision-making authorities is relatively high. This is only half an hour ago. An informed source told FNA Iran has not approved any draft agreement or initial memorandum with the U.S., contradicting President Trump's claim. So unless Trump is the party that actually agreed to the memorandum of understanding without making significant changes, then there is a potential ceasefire that is in place. And Trump as coming to terms with the Iranian memorandum of understanding, and then presenting it as though Iran is conceding, at which point, yes, there could be a ceasefire. Having said that, however, Barak Ravid reports, what to watch? The White House has believed a deal was imminent at several points during the conflict, only to see negotiations break down again. Just wait for Barak Ravid to say a deal is imminent. He's laughing at us. Barak Unit 8200 Ravid. Trump just said this. Trump on Iran, Strait of Hormuz will open as soon as we sign. Trump on Iran, deal signing maybe over the weekend. Signing probably in Europe. U.S. VP Vance will be there.
The great settlement of the war with Iran. And we're going to be subject to finalization of documents. We should get done over the next few days. We'll probably have a signing maybe in Europe. And it's a great thing. Stock market's up 1,000 points. That means they like the deal. See, that means they like. If the market goes down, that means they don't like the deal. But it's been up. Oil's dropped. Oil will start coming down to, I think, even lower than it was before. We had a great settlement.
Iran's not playing around this time. Wrong strategies and impulsive decisions will reset the entire board for the worse, explode energy infrastructure and markets, and create an endless quagmire that you will be stuck in for years. You will see a different Iran. He's actively croaking. Yeah, look, man, it's pretty simple. I'm a simple guy, okay? I've heard this 38 times already. We all have heard this on 38 separate instances, okay? 38 times. When the ink is dry and the American forces are retreating from the region, I'll believe it. Until that moment, I'm not believing it, okay? I'm in a state of disbelief. 38 times this dumbass has said a deal is imminent. And Barak Ravid has tweeted a deal is imminent, okay? Kind of tough for me to look at a boy who cried wolf style scenario 38 times, you know? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you can't fool me again. That's what George W. Bush said, okay? Fool me 38 times. At that point, I might be an analyst at Wall Street who is no longer looking at market fundamentals at all, okay? Fool me 38 times, and that means I want to be fooled. Fool me 38 times, and my name might as well be Barack Unit 8200 Ravid. I'm working for Axios, and my job is to basically copy-paste whatever the fucking White House emails me. What a crock of shit this has been. Anyway, here's what Trump had to say about people not believing him.
We have a signing soon, and the documents are in pretty final shape. So we'll see. We'll see. Very good. Should be done. That should be done pretty quickly. They want it every bit as much as everybody else wants it. And I think a lot of good relationships. But we have a signing soon.
What are we signing, bro? What are we signing? Actually, what are we signing? Anyway, on the other hand, Trump obviously is experiencing a little bit more pressure because our productive capabilities are not keeping up with our unlimited appetite for death and destruction. All at the behest of Israel, of course. Because, as I've reported on over and over again, we have a limited number of standoff munitions, and it's actually exceptionally difficult to resupply and to produce additional Tomahawk missiles. We're burning through them way faster than we can produce new ones. Leaders of Trump is pressing the defense industry leaders on weapons production as missile stockpiles shrink amid Iran war. Okay. Leaders of 7 key defense companies are expected to meet with President Donald Trump at the White House later this week as the administration confronts growing alarm over thinning U.S. munition stockpiles, NBC News reported. Trump has expressed anger to aides over the depleted arsenal as he weighs continued major combat operations against Iran. The Pentagon has yet to sign any new multi-year contracts to replenish munitions since Trump took office. NBC reported in May, having entered only non-binding framework agreements. The U.S. has been drawing down weapon stockpiles from Europe and Asia to sustain the Iran campaign. A Center for Strategic International Studies study found particular shortfalls in long-range precision weapons, including Tomahawks, Patriot missiles, and THAAD interceptors. Okay? There's also the Trump Q&A now, so let's get to it.
This is a massive win for our fishermen, massive win for our waterfront communities who process it, all these processors. And in the end, we are going to eat fish caught by us. What a shock. Eating fish caught by us in our waters. So this is just common sense, smart. We already have the best conservation rules in the world, and this was one on top of another on top of another. So thank God from the fisherman's perspective, and I get these calls all the time, that President Donald Trump is in this office because he's finally letting our great fishermen and fisherwomen get out there and catch fish and stop importing fish. Let's eat fish caught by Americans.
Oh, I fucking hate butt lick. Okay, that's beast mode.
Trump's leadership.
Coming to the White House in this garb is actually crazy.
He was going to roll back these job-killing, community-killing, industry-killing jobs. He's done that last year with executive orders, doing it today with his proclamation. So I want to say thank you to President Trump. I want to say thank you to my great friend, Secretary Lutnick in Commerce. We have dual responsibilities across Commerce and Interior related to fish. And of course, with our partners in the Pacific, because American Samoa, Guam, the Commonwealth of Northern Marianas Islands. We've got the Congresswoman here from Northern Marianas Islands. These are all American citizens. As Howard said, this is U.S. territorial waters, and they were closed to us and open to others. And that makes no sense. We've reversed that around. And so again, as you see around us, the jobs that are created in this industry are often second, third, fourth, and fifth generation family businesses. And these folks not only risk their lives, they risk their own personal capital to help feed America. They're the farmers of the sea. Just like President Trump's behind our farmers and ranchers, he's behind our fishermen. He's making sure that America is great. This brings back healthy food for our schools, our military, all the things that we're working on with Secretary Kennedy and with Pete Hegseth. So this is a win-win-win across the board. Again, thank you, President Trump. Thank you, Howard. Great day for America.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is another example of America First, to be honest with you. Alaska provides 60% of the country's seafood. We're the state with halibut, salmon, king crab, you name it, comes from Alaska. Fishing in Alaska is one of the oldest industries in that entire state, employs thousands of individuals. Everyone has had fish from Alaska, we know that. But this is an example, again, putting America first, workers first, and really this country first. And so on behalf of Alaska, on behalf of all fishermen and women, I want to thank you for what you're doing for this country, for the state of Alaska as well.
Governor, was this shutdown, I mean, it's just so hard to believe. So this was trauma for your industry, which is a big industry.
Well, your deregulation is what really helps Alaska. It helps the fishermen. The country doesn't need more regulation. We need less regulation. And that includes for this industry as well. And so from that perspective, and it's across the board. We could talk about oil and gas and so forth, but this is about fish. But your deregulation approach is really what we need. We don't need more costs. And as you said, we probably don't need electric boats either. We need to focus on getting seafood to Americans, putting people to work, and this is exactly what this does.
Okay, there's literally nothing in this Q&A so far. We'll get back to that in a minute. Let's continue with the Iran deal, and then once the media has some fucking questions that he's answering, then we'll get to it, okay?
He's always said he doesn't like war, but he also feels sometimes that it's necessary. It's that peace through strength mantra that he says that he is delivering on, and this would be further evidence of that.
Kimberly, it just seems like we hear something from the U.S. president every couple of days that a deal is imminent, and so far this deal hasn't materialized at all. I think it was just a couple of days ago where he said there were no sticking points left at all. I mean, do we have an idea of, clearly there were sticking points, of what those were and why it has taken so long, given the president insists they are so close to get to this point, assuming that we actually do have a deal?
The U.S. president is very much a cheerleader. He does like to project optimism. And so there's no question that this is a deal that is close, but getting it across the finish line seems to be the biggest challenge. And so as a result, the U.S. president continues to effort that, but at the same time is once again threatening strikes that he has now just called off, something that we've seen him do before in order to try and get the concessions that he wants. Now, the rhetoric, well, Donald Trump is known to use bombastic language. Well, behind the scenes, there are teams that are quietly working, trying to work out those details of the potential agreement. But again, as you point out, we've heard this before. We've heard that an agreement is imminent, only for it not to materialize. And so the bottom line is that the devil is always in the details, which have appeared to be elusive in terms of getting this Iran agreement thus far.
Seems exactly right. All right, Kimberly Honkett, stay with us for a second. Let's go to El-Migdad El-Rahaid. He's in Tehran.
Israeli officials denying it? I mean, that doesn't mean anything either. Again, a senior Israeli official tells Channel 12 that they're not aware of any agreement, but they don't need to know. They're not on a need-to-know basis. If Trump actually secures a final deal, I'm sure the Israelis won't know about it until the ink is drying, and they'll freak the fuck out about it, and they'll ruin it, which is precisely the reason why the only thing to pay attention to is troop positions, okay? Like, where are the naval assets? Which direction are they heading? And not only that, but also, how much are they complaining? Hasan supports terrorism, says this guy, Mariah Joe, who's live right now, which is interesting. I do not support the Israeli state. So, no. And I don't support when the American state does acts of terrorism against the Iranian civilian infrastructure, for example. So, you're wrong. Yes, offensive realism. No, I'm just telling it like it is. It's not even offensive realism. It's just until America withdraws from the fucking region, none of these words mean anything. Okay? Until America starts moving away from the region. Not like broadly withdrawing from their bases or anything like that. I'm just simply saying in this iteration of the conflict, until naval assets start moving in the opposite direction, it's meaningless.
So obviously, Al-Migdad, we have heard a lot of threats, a lot of posturing from the Iranians. It may be too early to have any response here, but I mean, how out of the blue does this seem based on what the Iranians have been saying?
Well, actually, it's not the first time from President of the United States, Donald Trump, made such an important line, changing the rhetoric, changing the narrative in terms of diplomacy and also in terms of militarily. He just said that he canceled all airstrikes and targeting bases here in the region, especially in southern of Iran. And from what we understand, for the couple of days, the message coming out of Tehran is that this type of contradictory, this type of changing in position is not acceptable for Iranian. Just yesterday, we have listened from, we have these lines from Ismail Baqai, the spokesperson of Foreign Ministry in the sideline of local event. He said that the United States is undermining the process through a contradictory message, frequent shifts in its positions and demand, as well as repeated violation of the ceasefire. This is a kind of response from the Iranian Foreign Ministry a couple of weeks ago. Actually, have been received here repeatedly such a kind of message. But at the same time, we know that there is a diplomatic effort, a flurry actually of diplomatic effort behind the scene. We have seen regional actors trying to bridging the gap between both sides. Everything is expected right now in such a moment, because we do know that both sides they do not want to go with the war for the latest actually escalatory ladder. At the same time, in terms of diplomacy, they are not closing the door for Iranian, are not walking away from diplomatic door. This is also just we have seen yesterday a couple of hours ago also from the Iranian officials here speaking about that they are not walking away from diplomatic door. But at the same time, changing in language, changing on positions, it's kind of give us a non-clear sense. It's actually ambiguity of types of diplomatic efforts. So at the same time, we are just waiting for Iranian to respond to such a kind of language from President Donald Trump. At the same time, we know the positions for them. They are demanding declare for ending the war in all fronts, regarding the Strait of Hormuz, regarding the situation of naval blockade, and also the situation in southern Lebanon. All these fronts are connected to each other for Iranian positions. And also after that, they are speaking about 60 days of implementing such a ceasefire, such an agreement in the ground. After that, they can open much complex files, which is nuclear file, and also demanding at the same time demanding an immediate release of frozen assets. We've seen frozen assets and frozen Iranian assets abroad, and also that sanctions is hurting Iranian right now. That pressure of naval blockade, adding to that the sanctions for decades right now, they are demanding an immediate release of Iranian frozen assets abroad. At the same time, they are open to negotiate, and we have seen a lot of message coming from chief commanders of the IRGC and the top commanders from Iranian retaliatory ladders in the region.
Prices are going up at the fastest pace in 3 years, the Iran war driving the inflation rate to 4.2%. President Trump said this when asked if he's concerned about the number.
No, I love it. The numbers were great. You know what I really love? I love the inflation.
Democrats pouncing. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer reposting Trump's comment, writing, "Trump really said, I love the camera." The president later trying to play cleanup, telling the New York Post he was referring to what inflation numbers will be after the war ends, adding he was happy this month's report didn't show even higher numbers. The typical American household has now spent $510 extra in fuel expenses since the start start of the war at the end of February. Families paying $294 extra per month for the same goods and services compared to last year.
Prices going up in the grocery store, gas prices, soaring.
Groceries are up 2.7% in 1 year. Coffee surging 20%. Ground beef up 13%, while a carton of eggs is down 51%.
Where do you see prices going up in your budget day to day?
Groceries, for sure, gas.
Here in Indianapolis, we meet Hannah Cooper filling up her SUV. She tells us she and her husband are cutting back.
I have to think more about, if I want to save this much, I have to actively think about spending less, which didn't used to be the case.
What's making it harder to absorb these extra costs is that Americans' average wage increases are no longer keeping up with inflation. Paychecks, on average, are up 3.4% over the past year. That inflation rate is up 4.2%, George.
Okay, Elizabeth, thanks very much.
I just heard about the H3 versus iDubbbz defamation lawsuit and spent the last 3 or so hours learning about it and getting into the nitty-gritty, figuring out all the bits and pieces and getting all the morsels of information I could find to really put the nipple clamps on it and figure out what.
Oh boy. Jesus Christ. Oh boy. HasanAbi save us? No, I mean, Moist Critical. Law, who the fuck is this? This is the god of normies. Lol, Charlie, there's so much ass covering in this video because of you and others. Is it? Is that the case? I don't know. I haven't seen it, but Moist Critical has officially taken to the H3 versus iDubbbz lawsuit. Now, you guys already know some of the details. Ethan Klein, H3, former fair use precedent setting. Ethan Klein, former podcast co-host of mine, who's been on a tear, basically trying to wrap up all of the people that he feels he's been wronged by with frivolous lawsuits as a vexatious litigant, has done it again. He's done a whole video, or he's launched another lawsuit, this time against iDubbbz, former friend of Ethan Klein as well, because iDubbbz posted a statement that was allegedly defamatory of Ethan Klein. A statement not from iDubbbz, mind you, a statement from Destiny. Destiny, who once alleged that Ethan had molested his own children and that Child Protective Services should be called to his home. Now, I don't know what attitude he takes in this situation, in this circumstance. I expect, given the prestige that Ethan Klein in the past had, a lot of, strong relationships with a lot of OG YouTube legends. He was perceived as a YouTube legend for the longest time as well. So I suspect that this won't be super critical. I assume that there's a reason why a lot of top YouTube content creators have not touched this. Even though Ethan was already doing this with the DMCA suits that he launched towards towards Denims, which he's about to lose, as a matter of fact, and also towards Casey Tron as well. And it was actually really interesting that a lot of YouTubers that normally would have been collectively very critical of Ethan launching these frivolous lawsuits and turning litigation into content and potentially even overwriting the previous precedent that he himself fought for, they were nowhere to be found. And I think part of that is because the people that Ethan had chosen to attack were unpopular. That's just the reality of the matter. They're unpopular on the internet. I myself am one of those figures. In the drama sphere, in the drama ecosystem, there are established enemies that unite all of the reactionary bases and also even the centrist accounts. And we are those people. Okay? So I don't know if Charlie took I don't know what kind of stance Charlie took in this in this piece that he did, but I do find it odd that they didn't cover the Denims lawsuit. I do find it odd that they didn't cover the other instances of litigation. But let's see what he had to say. Sure, we'll watch the Anthony Fantano one too. This loser has lost his lawsuit. Oh, that's just about the Denims one. What is happening?
I just heard about the H3 versus iDubbbz defamation lawsuit and spent the last 3 or so hours.
Charlie hates you, Loki. He doesn't. I've talked to him behind the scenes, post Kayagate, and I don't think he hates me. Charlie reached out to Harley and not iDubbbz at all. I don't think that's the case.
Hours learning about it and getting into the nitty gritty, figuring out all the bits and pieces and getting all the morsels of information I could find to really put the nipple clamps on it and figure out what all the hoopla is. And it is a real thing. The pugilistic legal paperwork has been filed against iDubbbz, so now they're going to duke it out, not with knuckle sandwiches, but with extremely expensive litigation. Off rip, before I even get into the spaghetti and meatballs of the actual story here, there is just something that pets my peeves. There is something that grinds my gears, greases my cheeks so much I can't resist yapping about it briefly. When I was in the trenches digging around for information about...
Why are we defending a man who does not defend you? I'm not in the business of transactional analysis. That would make me no better than others who I oppose. If he gives a fair shake, I haven't seen this yet. I don't know if he gives Ethan a fair shake here. I think it's virtually impossible for Moist Critical to take a position that isn't in opposition of this frivolous lawsuit, though, regardless of how much people despise iDubbbz on the internet, regardless of how much people despise myself and Morgan and all these other people on the internet. Yeah. So
I kept seeing people say that I refuse to cover these kind of things for a variety of different reasons. I'm ignoring it, this and that. I don't know how many more times I need to say this. I am just really not online that much these days. The only streams I watch are like the Summer Games Fest and like events like that, but I don't watch streams. I don't watch a lot of YouTube, and I don't go on Twitter, like, at all. I still have Twitter because I send and reply to DMs through there sometimes for like events, like Tyler One's League of Legends tournament. I heard from him on Twitter DM, so I have it for reasons like that, but I don't like do.
You should be eating food for this, no? Okay, guys, dial back to parasocialism.
Boom scroll Twitter and see a bunch of things anymore. Look at the last tweet I made. So like I don't see a lot of these things that are going on anymore. But for some reason, everyone jumps to, oh, he must be ignoring it. He's got to be ignoring it. We can really tell a lot about this guy from the things he refuses to cover. I just don't see them. The things I do hear about come from my friends, and I stream chat telling me about them, putting them on my radar. But if neither of those two avenues show it to me or tell me about it, I just never hear about it. And I'm not even a streamer anymore, not full time. I'm like a semi-retired streamer. I stream sometimes. And sometimes I'll stream like 3-4 days in a row. But basically what I do now is I just play like old school games, like a lot of retro games or a lot of Steam cum dumpster games, like actual trash. So like I'm not even really a streamer, so I don't even see a lot of that either. So like it's not me avoiding certain things for a nefarious reason. I just literally don't ever hear about it, so I never learn about it. Now, there is some stories that I do hear about and get really invested in, like Bricks and Minifigs versus Reckless Ben. I've been very glued to that one, had my finger on the pulse of. But that was something I was put on my radar by friends and stream chat. So genuinely, I am just not online that much, so I don't see a lot of it. So with that out of the way, I did spend like the last 3 hours learning about this defamation lawsuit between H3 and iDubbbz because that did sound pretty concerning. Because there's always been like an unwritten rule on the internet, not just YouTube, where if there's beef online, it stays online. And you handle it online without, going over that threshold, the event horizon of trying to use litigation to silence your opponent or something like that. That had always been etched in the stone tablets, the 10 commandments of online discourse.
It's true.
And now all of a sudden, I'm hearing about H3 suing iDubbbz for defamation. So obviously I wanted to hear more about that. And after diving in, hitting that cannonball into the pool, I learned he has a lot of active lawsuits. I think it's 5, maybe 6 against other streamers and YouTubers. So it's a bit of a rampage he's been on. I knew about one before all this, which was against the snark community. That I did hear about. And that one...
Snark community.
Made a lot of sense to me, actually. The snark community, from what I recall, was doing some diabolical, like...
Yeah, this is like... Listen. Are there annoying people on the internet that are up people's asses all the goddamn time? Absolutely. Okay. Ethan Klein operates a snark community against myself. I don't think any of Ethan Klein's lawsuits are even in any way, shape, or form remotely defensible. He has obviously postured it and positioned it in a way where it comes across as defensible to other content creators by claiming a litany of different insane things that he claims were happening because people were gang stalking him and I don't know, like going after his family and like sending CPS and sending skulls to his house or whatever. Okay. I don't know the veracity of these claims, but I do know one thing. He has used that as a counter to every single goddamn thing. He stubs his toe. He goes, oh, it's the snark community, which, by the way, he says I'm a part of. All of the people that he has actively sued, he has claimed were responsible without any evidence whatsoever for sending child protective services to his house, to sending skulls to his house. Like, it's an incredible method. Meanwhile, I'm literally being prosecuted by the goddamn federal government, allegedly, and these guys are celebrating that decision, and at no point did I ever turn around and say, oh, Ethan Klein is the reason why I have a subpoena from the government. Okay? It's ridiculous. Just because they even celebrate that decision by the federal government, which they have openly, which is also disgusting, doesn't mean that they had anything to do with it. But it's ridiculous to be like, yeah, I'm suing anonymous Redditors on the internet because I believe that they're coordinating like a mass harassment campaign against me. And therefore, like, in order for a lot of these people to understand, yeah, he is a snarker of mine. He is, which is, you know, whatever it is. In order for a lot of these people who have been in support of these decisions, in support of Ethan's vexatious litigant status, in order for them to come to terms with how frivolous these lawsuits are, I should probably start doing the exact same thing so they can fucking be on board with the opposition. All of a sudden, they'll probably understand. Can you imagine if I were going after random anonymous accounts over and over again, trying to create this fucking conspiracy, claiming that they were the reasons why, they were responsible for why, I was getting pursued by the fucking federal government. Oh, I got banned by the United Kingdom because of Ethan Klein and anonymous Redditors. Can you imagine if I tried to fucking launch lawsuits against anonymous Redditors and try to dox them, going after Reddit mods, and then on top of that, going after all of these people that have done like a million articles, a million YouTube videos on me? In many instances, genuinely actually slandering me too, defaming me actively, claiming I offer material support to terrorist groups. Material support for terrorism is a literal crime. You are definitionally slandering me and claiming that I'm engaging in a literal fucking crime. If I were to go after every single fucking YouTuber, half of the YouTube commentary sphere would receive lawsuits. Okay? And then they would be reminded of how fucked up and ridiculous this is, because then they would make videos about how silly it is to go after people, to go after fucking people that are critical of you, that are holding you accountable. I mean, I fucking jokingly referenced suing more Pegasus, and every single one of these people that had made YouTube videos about, every single one of these people that had defended Ethan Klein's ridiculous fucking lawsuits, claiming that it was actually the utmost, claiming that these lawsuits were like unironically maintaining the integrity of the commentary sphere, not realizing that if those lawsuits were actually pursued, that there would be a new precedent that would destroy fair use. Guess what? Even when I jokingly fucking referenced it, every single one of those people that were in defense of Ethan's lawsuits turned around and started fucking railing on me, saying, oh my God, Hasan can't take criticism at all. Maybe it's not a joke. Yeah, it's not a joke. I maintain the position that maybe more Pegasus is not, maybe he might be receiving a lawsuit or legal action sometime soon. But like, my point is this. Ethan actually did sue people. Okay, as Charlie here is openly recognizing, he did. He actually sued, and he even destroyed the livelihoods of Casey Tron and even got a default on the Morgan case as well. All of those cases were fucking frivolous. But the people that he was litigating, the people that he was suing, did not have the financial backing to pursue a long and costly litigation process. So they had to fucking default, or they had to actually concede to the unbelievable demands that he was making. Demands such as an ISIS hostage style video that he forced Casey Tron to fucking read. That those very same people turned around and fucking claimed, the very same people in the commentary sphere claimed was valid, claimed was awesome. Yeah, he's accused multiple people of CPS. He said different streamers, Redditors, and chatters have all sent CPS to his house without any proof, apparently. You literally ask him if he has any proof. The snark community sent CPS, and he said, no, I have never said that. Yeah. Remember that shit? Remember when I talked to him in person in that fucking disastrous, I guess you could call it a debate if you want to call it that, where I was like, what proof, what evidence do you have that like myself and all these other people have actually sent Child Protective Services to your house? Like, where is this coming from? Because he was claiming everyone and their mothers was responsible for calling Child Protective Services. I didn't even know that shit was happening, and they were saying I was responsible for it. He genuinely, sincerely, in the most like schizophrenic way, thinks that there is a network, a coalition of people that are in constant collaboration with one another that's like actively trying to ruin his life. Not realizing that there is a coalition of people that are actively ruining his life. It's just that those people are in support of Ethan Klein, or at least seemingly in support of Ethan Klein, using him and his financial status to pursue people that they don't like on the internet, to constantly goad him into litigation after litigation, telling him that he's doing the right thing over and over again, telling him that he actually should pursue these fucking people and bury them in financial troubles through costly litigation. Those are the people who are actively going into his community, acting as though they're lifelong fans, and using him like a fucking lol-cal weapon. But of course, it's impossible to get him to understand this because he's far too paranoid at this point.
Harassing, stalking stuff, sending CPS. I remember that, and like human skulls. Those things I recalled from like the snark community. So it made sense that he would pursue litigation there, because that is highly illegal fucking psychopath behavior. So that one I remember, and that one made sense.
Like, I don't even disagree with the premise if there was any veracity to these claims. Okay? If there was any proof of like coordinated messaging where people were just like, yes, let's go, let's send fucking Child Protective Services to his house, then yeah, it's valid. The problem is none of his lawsuits have anything to do with that. None of his lawsuits have anything to do with that at all. He really thinks he's going to fucking crack this case. He thinks there's like all these people on the internet are all out to get him, and they're trying to fucking actively ruin his life, not realizing that the only person ruining Ethan Klein's life is Ethan Klein. Okay? His paranoia is the reason why people don't fuck with him anymore. And the frivolous lawsuits that he's launched against his opposition is part of the reason why people don't fuck with him anymore. His opinions on Israel is part of the reason why people don't fuck with him anymore. He was accusing everyone of CPS. Only when Denham said he's suing him, he retracted.
I want to address something from Denham's correction demand in her letter. The letter claims I falsely stated that Denham's herself filed the preceding CPS report, or that Denham's caused others to do so. The letter also states on March 11th, I acknowledged Denham's had denounced herself or anyone in her community making contact with CPS. Let me be clear. I have never claimed that Denham's called CPS. I have never implied that Denham's called CPS. If my statements were interpreted as stating this, I want to correct the record and make it clear that I do not believe that Denham's called CPS. Obviously, moronic, idiotic, stupid. Let me also address the point in the letter that I claimed Denham caused others to call CPS. I did not state, and I do not believe Denham's made a direct call to action to her audience to contact CPS, obviously.
Yeah, this is lawyer speak because he got hit.
Right?
He got hit with a CND, I assume, under threat of a lawsuit while appearing to read a letter from his lawyer. Ethan Klein attempts to formally retract 3 defamatory claims against Denham's. Ethan admits Denham's didn't call CPS, didn't denounce those that called CPS, never made a call to action for another to call CPS. Okay? Except he literally did do that, for the record. Okay? He did. And when he says like, oh, I'm doing this as I'm waging this just war against Snark, that's what he's referencing. And a lot of people have deluded themselves into believing that that is the truth. That like all of these people that Ethan Klein is actually going after at some point harbored people or directly called CPS themselves. They even say that about myself as well, when it's like I'm the least involved in fucking drama with Ethan Klein for the most part too. Lol, not you. No, he has. Oh, I thought you're calling Ethan a punk ass bitch. Okay, it is ridiculous.
To me, but when
he has a lot of money from being one of the OG major YouTubers, and also having at the time very successful clothing brand at the peak of YouTube, at the peak of like when YouTubers were basically fucking printing money. And he is literally just using that war chest to dunk on like 100 concurrent Twitch streamers, man. It's fucking ridiculous. It's like totally ridiculous. Powerful, turning around and using the money cannon against those who he does not like. It's a classic story. YouTube has many evil villains like this. But because the overwhelming majority of the fucking commentary sphere, the overwhelming majority of the commentary sphere don't like the YouTubers that Ethan is pursuing, they have literally openly supported his actions. Unbelievable.
Talking about these other ones, granted, I haven't dove too deep into all of those because this is clearly a lot. I was mainly focused on the defamation one, but man, Ethan Klein has become like the Nintendo of YouTubers. He is extraordinarily litigious. Anyway, enough blabbering. What started this defamation lawsuit was this iDubbbz stream.
Okay, this is my watermark for the stream. I don't want any of my content being stolen. Got another Kalshi ad? I'm sorry, Fazium. We're all getting Kalshi ads these days. It's okay. So I do want to say I don't agree in this comment here, but I'm putting it on screen because I think it should be addressed because it's a big, bold accusation that's very fucked up.
It is very fucked up. And
yeah, it's like very clear what iDubbbz is doing. It's twofold. One, at that point, Ethan was just like constantly clipping his fucking streams to like, dunk on him. So he thought that this would be a defensive shield against Ethan, most likely clipping his streams. And two, it is a fucking defamatory statement. It's a ridiculously defamatory statement. And yet Ethan was not even remotely invested in addressing that defamatory statement at all, and instead did the unthinkable and went after iDubbbz for literally disavowing the defamatory statement. He literally said she did CPS with timestamp.
Attention.
Bro, you were so smug. She did CPS. Remember that? Okay, good.
Right now, one's a little bit more.
Yeah, that was his fucking rallying cry for the longest time. She did CPS. He did CPS. They all did CPS. Everybody and their mothers. Everybody that has ever criticized Ethan Klein has been responsible for calling Child Protective Services on his children. It's fucking ridiculous.
It's despicable that he would think it's a good idea to post that there while knowingly aware that it's not true. So the message isn't Ian's. This comes from Destiny, and he found this screenshot and he kept it on screen for a very long time. And he said he didn't agree with it, but thinks it needs to be addressed because it's so fucked up. It is a terrible stream. Just giving it to you real blunt, real raw. It is no good. And I'm no stranger to getting shit-talked by iDubbbz. He has said some very nasty, very untrue things about me on his broadcast as well. But what is being reported in regards to this stream isn't exactly telling the whole story.
Wait, what? Wait, what the fuck? I don't even know what iDubbbz has said about Charlie, but that's crazy, bro.
No, when I first
wait,
and
what?
Real blunt, real stuff, and he's this true. So the message isn't Ian's. This comes from Destiny, and he found this.
Yeah, why is Ethan not suing Destiny? That's the real question. I think we all know why. Partially because Ethan is aligned with Destiny. Ethan has been utilizing the Destiny community to launch attacks against his fucking enemies on the internet. They're aligned together on the issue of Israel. That's another huge deal. Okay, that's another big part of the fucking puzzle here. That's it. Sometimes it's a lot simpler than you think. This story is very simple. That was a brief moment where they were fighting one another. Okay, I think it was because Ethan had implied that Destiny was a pedophile because he's going through that court case right now where it came out that he was trying to procure child sexual abuse material from a minor in exchange for revenge porn that he was sending out to people without the consent of the other parties involved. He's still actively in that court case because he's getting sued by the victims who he distributed the sex videos of, right? And Ethan was obviously fucking shitting on him over it. And in exchange for that, Destiny did what Destiny always does. He turned on one of his collaborators, Ethan, in this circumstance, even though literally his co-host of his podcast, Dan Saltman, again, another person who is unbelievably pro-Israel, or at least utilizing the pro-Israel advocacy as a way to take care of his enemies, is a funder, is one of the last remaining sponsors of Ethan Klein's podcast.
Screenshot, and he kept it on screen for a very long time. And he said he didn't agree with it, but thinks it needs to be addressed because it's so fucked up. It is a terrible stream. Just giving it to you real blunt, real raw. It is no good. And I'm no stranger to getting shit-talked by iDubbbz. He has said some very nasty, very untrue things about me on his broadcast as well. But what is being reported in regards to this stream isn't exactly telling the whole story. Now, when I first heard of this lawsuit, I was reading a bunch about it, but I wanted more information, like, directly associated with it to make sure I wasn't getting, like, fraudulent or misleading shit fed to me. So I reached out to someone whom I know is on the H3 team, and Ethan did hear about that, so he did talk directly about me on his show and challenge me on a few things, and I did eventually get to talk directly with Ethan, and I shared my...
I wish he would have done this to me when he was doing the Kayage story, but hey, you know, that's besides the point at this point. You know, bygones. I let bygones be bygones.
Full perspective on things and the problems I had around it and my concerns, and got his perspective on things to see if there's any misunderstandings and such. Ultimately, I don't think we fully saw eye to eye on this, which, you know, that's going to happen. I fully understand that this is a very emotionally charged subject for him after everything him and his family have went through with snarkers in particular. I know.
What the fuck does iDubbbz have to do with this shit? Bro, this is literally the most Israel-coded story of all time, dude. It's literally but the snarkers. Snarkers have become the but Hamas of Ethan's universe. Okay? Oh, sorry. We're just going to fucking do, we're going to do a 8-front war. Or in this circumstance, a 5-front legal war with anyone and everyone around us. Because snarkers call CPS on us. Like, what do you mean? What the fuck does that have to do with anybody else?
That the CPS and the human skulls incident are like a legitimately traumatizing thing, like the fraudulent CPS call. Like, I get how inexcusable and abhorrent that is. I really do.
Yeah, imagine if you got the Hasan treatment, commentary, community, Reddit, mainstream media, politicians. We are babying the 30-year-old multi-millionaire with potentially upwards of $100 million in his fucking bank account that he's using to legally go after much smaller channels with no fucking financial backing whatsoever because CPS. Like, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. It's crazy, man. What is this like this babying that this guy... How many lawsuits is he allowed to have under his belt until people go, okay, maybe this is a bridge too far? Like, how many random people that he is annoyed with on the internet that he is just like trying to bury under a mountain of paperwork with costly litigation until people go, you know, maybe that's not appropriate. Only Diaz said to call CPS, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, the only person, ironically enough, out of all these people that Ethan Klein is suing that is actually openly defended calling CPS on Ethan Klein's children is Sex Pestiny.
I hope CPS takes his kids. I'll say it. I do. And I hope they cry about it. And then CPS come for my kid. And then CPS can take Dan's kids. You know what? All of our children at the end of the day will just be fostered by Child Protective Services. Okay? And that'll just be... And then we can all relieve ourselves he's just going to be a rehash of every other fucking video made. God, it's so crazy how this fucking retard, as he's spamming on Instagram and coughing and dying of whatever diseases he has, is telling me like, oh, Destiny, I used to like you so much and you need help and blah, blah, blah. It's like the exact shit that Hasan was doing to him. Good me.
Destiny video couldn't be complete without random Hasan mention, of course.
But I just truly don't believe that this lawsuit is in any way, shape, or form helpful to anyone. Outside of the lawyers, they're fucking smiling ear to ear. They're salivating right now, literally drooling with a bib on. But it's harmful to, I think, literally everyone involved and does have potential ramifications for others way outside of it. I have never and will never be a fan of extreme litigation, and I have always been vocally advocating against creators going that nuclear path, and I always will. Of course, there are cases where it is understandable. Like I said, going after the snarkers that sent a fraudulent CPS thing through and the skulls and stuff, that one I do understand.
Bro, but what does that have to do with iDubbbz? I mean, where is the veracity, or where is the fucking genuine proof that there is, again, a network of like anonymous accounts that Ethan Klein has targeted and identified as being responsible for calling Child Protective Services on him? I don't even think there is any proof whatsoever. Ethan certainly doesn't have that. I don't know why he keeps bringing this up as though it has anything to do with iDubbbz anyway.
But this one, I could never support that. And I just can't see the real just cause behind it. And I think it is a terrible example for other creators in the space to follow, where maybe they believe that even though this is about like a Canadian defamation lawsuit, well, maybe they can try their luck in the States. You know, it's not like defamatory lawsuits are exclusive to Canada. There's better protections here, no doubt, but still, if they take from this that maybe the way to fight battles online is to go the litigious route, well, then it's just a huge mess across the board. I think it is just a...
Yeah, bro, I'm telling you, if you want the entire commentary sphere to finally fucking pay attention to this shit, I know the solution. I have to sue one of my, thousands of fucking insane haters on the internet. That's it. Here's E denying that to you that he never said anything.
That harassment, and you pulled it up on your stream.
Do you have evidence that H3 Snark called CPS on you?
Did I say that?
Random anonymous Redditors?
Did I say that?
Wait, what's the...
I said they're primarily responsible for harassing me.
Who called CPS?
What the fuck? So, I don't know. Did I claim they did? You're dodging, bro. You are absolutely dodging. Ethan, you claim your community has nothing to do with the harassment, yet you were browsing H3 Snark. Now, let me ask you this, Hasan. How many times...
Yeah. So what's all this lawsuit about? What's all this fucking lawsuit about? I mean, here he is fucking admitting that he has no evidence whatsoever. Should have ended there, right? Seems to me like you got an unfathomably rich guy who's just mad that people have turned on him on the internet. And instead of trying to fucking figure out why that took place and maybe changing his goddamn behavior, he's decided to fucking bury all of the people that have dared to criticize him under costly litigation while simultaneously claiming falsely that they were responsible for Child Protective Services being called to his fucking house. He literally said this about Snark and CPS yesterday. Yeah, I'm not going to read that shit, man. I'm sorry.
A very bad precedent. Even if, the lawsuit doesn't end in a victory for him, this way of engaging with discourse, I think, has always been frowned upon, but for some reason is starting to get some more support behind it, and I just fully disagree with it. I think that this is genuinely just a, big threat across the board to just the entire space. Like, if discourse becomes, fearful of, litigation flying back and forth, it's going to stifle a lot of voices and stifle some very, legitimate criticism down the line. It's just not something I want to see become commonplace. Now, I did also have a brief conversation with iDubbbz about this as well, letting him know that this really is a horrible thing that he did to try and make his point. And he agreed. He said that it was a legitimately awful thing that he did to make that point, and that...
Dog, but the offending party is not even being mentioned here. No one is saying there isn't an offense being made. But it's not iDubbbz that is the offending party. It's Destiny.
It was a genuine, sincere apology that he was issuing and how regretful he was from it. So I did have a conversation with both sides of this to make sure I had like a full, clear picture of where everything was and what this was all about.
I don't know how it works in Canada, if the complaint is public or what. But if you look at it, he emphasizes throughout that he does think it's a serious accusation that needs to be investigated and that he doesn't think it's a joke, right? Now, I know...
Yeah. He has no basis for this, by the way. Like, I don't know how ridiculous Canadian but like, there is literally no standing. Like, this shit would be laughed out of fucking court in the United States of America. That's why he didn't file this in California. He'd get hit with a slap so fucking fast his face would spin.
Oh, people are like, well, why don't you sue Destiny for saying it? Well, Destiny made it immediately. First of all, this is a comment from Destiny, like made in passing. Ian put it on his screen for 2 hours during his main broadcast. Destiny made it clear that he was not being serious, right?
Did he? Did he? Oh, okay then.
Pretty much immediately after writing it. Like, nobody was like, yo, Destiny made this claim that Ethan molested his children. Oh, shit. No, people knew that when Destiny said it was like, he was just being a dickhead. Or, I mean, he was being a giant fucking piece of shit, right? But he immediately afterwards made it clear that he didn't actually think that. But Ian took that, and just because you're showing what someone else said doesn't make it not defamation, because you're showing essentially this accusation bare of context and also kind of saying that you think it's true, right?
Now, after hearing Ethan explain that, I actually made...
Wait, first of all, no, the context of it was that he's pissed off that you were calling him a pedophile. Was Destiny joking here too? Because it wasn't a one-off. Yeah, Destiny's version of kidding, great excuse to be petty pussy to sue somebody else. Yeah, here he is again. Okay, never mind. I take back what I said about Ethan. Maybe he is a pedo. What is this?
He has to tie back to me. And Hasan has had a lot of success in trying to tie people back to me. Like I said, I think this is why I call Ethan a pedophile all the time, who fucks his kids or whatever, is because Ethan gave in, because he's a spineless fucking hack, to this type of attack where he's like, no, I'm not like Destiny. Destiny doesn't get me talking about.
Incredible stuff, man. Ethan is lying. Destiny instead admitted actual malice, which is required to sue for defamation of public figures. Yeah, incredible stuff. Again, it just doesn't make any sense. It's so stupid. It's so unbelievably stupid that even the average person, when they find out the details, go, wait, what the fuck? I'm sorry, now I'm even more confused. So Destiny saying that Klein molests his kids in passing comment is fine because Destiny said he's kidding, but iDubbbz showing it on screen is bad, despite him explicitly saying that he doesn't agree with it? Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't, because it has nothing to do with making sense. And everything to do with the fact that Ethan wants to punish people who have criticized him in the past. That's it, because he's a thin-skinned, narcissistic, multimillionaire who's paranoid as fuck. And it's so funny because of a different reason. Here, you want to know something even crazier? I'll tell you something even crazier. He has to make excuses for Destiny because Destiny's podcast co-host and best friend is a 60-year-old weirdo by the name of Dan Stalkman, who owns the company Redact.dev. Dev is one of the last remaining sponsors of Ethan Klein's company. Dan and Destiny have fucking wrapped Ethan around their goddamn fingers and use him like a fucking fleshlight. So he can't even turn around and shit on them because that's a lifeline for his business. So remember that shit. I mean, come on. This is pretty basic stuff, by the way. Like, I'm sure Charlie didn't know any of this. And no one's going to fucking tell him this shit. But it is like, it's basically just it's basically just requires you to scratch the surface. The idea that there is no like financial entanglements between Destiny and Ethan Klein is crazy. There's a direct conflict of interest, which is part of the reason why he can't fucking turn around and sue Destiny. He's too pussy to do that. I'm sure he doesn't like Destiny any longer. Or maybe Destiny's made inroads with him again by attacking his enemies again like a fucking pit bull, which was the reason why they were initially aligned with one another. But yeah, it's crazy that there's no principled statement here, and it's all just like coalitions. Fuck. Yeah, there's no principled stance that people are taking here. I mean, I guess Moise is kind of taking a principled stance here, even though he's like hitting the peak of the center of the argument when it's a fucking lopsided, totally one-sided argument, in my opinion. And he will obviously at the end side with iDubbbz because it's totally ridiculous, as he's reiterating over and over again.
The noble sacrifice of going back and watching the entire iDubbbz stream segment with this in it when he was talking about it. Boy, howdy. I'm not a hero. It was brave, but I don't need your flowers. That was agonizing. It was heinous, even. It was brutal. This whole segment where he was talking about that, I think, was really, really rough. But I don't recall at any point throughout it him actually trying to argue that it's a legitimate thing or trying to convince his audience that it's real. So I know one of the big things is that it came from iDubbbz, who has actually met Ethan and his family. So there's like this air of credibility around him saying something like this, but that's just not true. He's not even trying to say anything about it is credible, even outright says that it's not, that he doesn't agree with it. So he's not trying to present it as a real argument based on, any of his experiences knowing Ethan and his family.
Also, I will say that I think Ethan Klein is terrified of this guy. So it's just kind of like legit. It is to me, it's super funny that he has so much smoke for everyone that he thinks he can bully, but the person that he's fucking terrified, he just keeps very overtly running from. And it's like, yeah.
Now, by the way, Ethan is literally suing iDubbbz for that reason because iDubbbz said the truth there. That's literally it. The two anti-Hasan communities united. Quick reminder that Ian did comply with the cease and desist, and the only reason Ethan isn't going after Destiny, who actually wrote the comment, is because he doesn't want to lose the only community that's still supporting his anti-Hasan slop content. 100%.
Now, while Ethan is 100% correct that iDubbbz says that this is a big allegation that Ethan should be addressing, he's not doing it earnestly, or at least I don't think he was. It's actually really kind of hard to tell. The whole segment was fucking awful, and the point he was trying to make was really dog shittily done. But what he's trying to say is that clip right there at the end.
Destiny has literally operated, we know. Destiny has literally operated alongside Dan Stalkman, Ethan Klein's biggest sponsor, a mass harassment Discord server where they doxed my whole family. We know this. I've shown this on stream before. So like everything that Moist Critical is claiming Ethan is actually pursuing litigation over, I have direct evidence that these fucking dickheads were doing. We also know, and it's been written about in fucking Bloomberg, that Dan Stalkman tried to destroy all ads on Twitch in an effort to try and get me banned. Okay? So the level of coordinated, sophisticated smear campaigns reached a level of actual financial penalties, right? Where they lied, where they straight up fucking lied to thousands of advertisers about how their ads were running next to my fucking stream, and they lied about what I was saying on those streams. Like, it's incredible how they lied to them about how the platform had banned, Twitch, the platform, had actually banned all Israelis from the platform. That was a direct lie, by the way. That was straight up a lie. And when Dan Saltman realized that he had mass blasted thousands and thousands of emails directly to sponsors, directly to major advertisers on the platform, lying to them, you know what he said? Oh, well, I guess we'll delete the VOD where I recognize this. I guess we'll delete the VOD where, I admit to doing this. Yeah, that's not what happened at all. Wait, really? What do you mean that's not what happened at all? Not only did I cover it, but there's video evidence. Wait, who the fuck is calling me right now? Jesus Christ. Hold on.
Destiny said this extremely outrageous, outlandish, disgusting thing about Ethan, and yet Ethan doesn't have smoke for him, but he does for the other people that he's gone after through lawsuits. I'm pretty sure that's the point he was trying to make by putting that on screen. Like, look, Destiny has said something absolutely...
Wait, what do you mean you're pretty sure? That's literally the clip that you clipped. That is the point he's making.
Despicable, yet you don't have that same energy for him as you do for the others. Unless I've blanked out and like erased moments from my memory from this segment. I don't recall him saying that this is like a serious thing he believes in and is presenting it as such. Like about Ethan is this, and this is a real allegation that really has a lot of water to it. Now, this doesn't change the fact that what iDubbbz did here is completely awful. To try and make this point using that kind of comment with something as monstrously evil as that is just so fucking low.
I disagree.
It is. But I don't believe that's how Ethan is necessarily.
I disagree. I 100% disagree. I don't think so. I think this is just moral posturing. What do you mean? iDubbbz is not in agreement with the comment whatsoever. I think it's perfectly valid to use such a severely defamatory statement like that one, which ironically enough, Destiny's made about me as well, because he's a fucking psycho. If you are a litigious person, you should apply that litigious nature to the actual offending party rather than whoever you actually want to punish, and punish financially. Not because you're going to be able to win that court case. It's not about victory in this circumstance. It's about just, costly litigation. Burying people under a mountain of paperwork.
Explaining it to everyone where iDubbbz is really, believing in this. iDubbbz came over to my house. He met my family. Now he's going out there saying these things.
Like, if Charlie knew half the gross shit Ethan motherfucking Klein has said about Ian and Anissa, I don't think he'd be doing this. Ethan Klein directly has stalked and mass harassed iDubbbz and Anissa. Directly. For months on end. This litigation is an extension of that project. Ethan Klein has also called people that he doesn't like Nazis. Photoshop photos on his Instagram stories to imply that they're Nazis. He's done it to me too. He has called people that he does not like pedophiles, including Dan Clancy, the CEO of Twitch. Yeah, here it is.
He's extremely scummy because he did meet his kids and everything, and now he's putting a comment out there like that. That is very scummy, but he's not using it to try and make this claim that Ethan is those things. He's trying to use that to show that...
Dude, who's the scumbag here? Is it fucking iDubbbz? Or is it the guy who's been harassing iDubbbz and Anissa for fucking months? I'm sorry, dude. Come on, Charlie. I know everybody fucking hates Ian and myself and Morgan and Casey Tron on the internet, okay? But come on, dude. I mean, he's taken stronger stances in the past. Defending trans people. He's taken stronger stances in the past. Criticizing Israel. I guess in the commentary sphere, being even in any way, shape, or form remotely in defense of the truth, which happens to side with iDubbbz or happens to side with Denims, is worse than all of those things combined. But it's crazy. I don't know. Maybe this is a sincere opinion. I'm willing to be charitable. And I'm willing to be charitable and assume that it's coming from a place of him not like fully researching this stuff. But it seems like he's researched it extensively on one side. So he has tremendous amount of insight into, the grievances that Ethan Klein has experienced or claims to have experienced, even though it doesn't fucking tie back. So even after hearing Ethan's side, he still doesn't side with Ethan. So that in and of itself should show you how unbalanced this whole predicament is. Yeah, remember when he got caught at a fucking poker tournament, zooming in on a picture of Anissa and then screenshotting it and saving it?
Congratulations to the Ecklers.
We're ready for
Expected
either
baby
one.
number one.
Oh, everything's neutral.
God, yeah.
Got both names ready. Yeah. So
That's exciting. Congratulations to the Ecklers.
We're ready for
Expected
either
baby
one.
number one.
Oh, everything's neutral.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so fucking funny.
Destiny has said something so fucking terrible, yet you are not approaching him with the same energy you have everybody else. That is the point he was trying to make, I think, throughout that segment, at least from everything that I saw when watching it. Granted, it was very hard to sit through, but I'm pretty sure that's what he was trying to get at with that there. But I think that was a terrible way of going about it. Now, Ethan also addresses why he's not suing Destiny as well, and he's saying because Destiny cleared up that he wasn't being serious right away. I don't understand that. I'm not going to lie. That's not making sense to me. Can't wrap my noodle around it. It's not computing. I think it is a
That's a
very
lie, by the way. That's a lie. He never cleared it up. He never literally. He might have now. He might have now, but at the time, he certainly was very pissed off. And he's a very vindictive person, and he fucking lies about people all the goddamn time. So, no, at the time, he kept doubling down, tripling down. Yeah, here's another fucking post about Ethan making a disgusting sexual comment about iDubbbz and Anissa. I mean,
being loser behavior.
He has a fucking litany of shit like this. That's why I'm saying, like, oh, iDubbbz is a scumbag, is a crazy thing to say. iDubbbz is a scumbag for showing someone else's defamatory claims in an effort to draw home a point that Ethan will never go after them because he's financially involved with that group and also ideologically involved with that group because he uses, or he thinks he uses, Destiny's community as a cyber stalking operation to harass his fucking internet enemies, is literally the point that iDubbbz is making. What he's doing there is nowhere near as bad as like half the shit that Ethan says on a daily fucking basis about Ian and about Anissa. Here is one of them.
What a dumbass. Can't believe I felt bad for you. And by the way, Anissa reached out. She wants to meet at the Motel 6 tonight at 11.
Excuse me?
Because I'm going to fuck him for her? Because she's the cuck? No good?
Okay, Ian?
Him.
Right.
Anissa reached out to me.
You know, the first time that you made the Anissa the cuck joke, it hit really good.
Well,
and I feel like each subsequent one we're getting further and further.
What was wrong with?
I like that as soon as I started talking about fucking Ethan and you know, all this other shit going on, immediately the fucking weirdo Destiny fans come in here to be like, damn, Hamas. Calling me Hamas and then saying I got fat. Nice. What's good? Thanks, guys. That'll do it this time.
The one with that? I thought that
it just sounded weird. Kind of creepy.
Yeah. Here's Dean Saltman reading the Bloomberg article and finding out Saltman did in fact lie about those emails. Here it is.
The thing is, I sent this to the editor, and I said this was incorrect, and that I've never said this.
Okay. You're sure that your emails don't have the...
Yes.
You sure?
Yes. You can go to the site and click the button.
This is from the Bloomberg article talking about their sophisticated troll ops, their sophisticated operation to fucking slander, smear me, and also smear and defame the platform of Twitch with actual fake statements that they mass distributed to thousands of advertiser emails. Okay, in an effort to try to get advertisers to pull out from the platform Twitch, they went and mass distributed lies that they openly acknowledge in this video. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because these guys also financially support Ethan. Dan Stockman owns the company Redact.dev. It's a major sponsor, one of the last remaining sponsors of Ethan Klein's podcast. There's a reason. If you were wondering why Ethan doesn't sue Destiny for making this defamatory statement, it's because he's fucking terrified of losing his last remaining ally, his last remaining ideological ally that he can use against his enemies. It's a mutually beneficial relationship that they have where they mass stalk and do all of the things that Ethan claims is being done to him, to others that he has declared enemies.
Been the same. Why would I ever say that they suspended Israeli users? I know that's not true. No one would ever say that.
Yeah, except you did. You knowingly lied about it.
So what they're saying right here, I feel like it's just slander, right? Well, no, libel. Libel is written. I've never said this, and they're saying that I have said this. You're furiously tapping over there.
I'm just checking the email. Double checking.
I did. I sent an email to the editor, and I said I demanded a retraction or a correction on it. If they don't, fuck it. I will sue them.
Oh, no, wait, hold on.
What's that? Chicken Big Mac.
Forget it. Delete this part of the VOD.
Okay. Why?
Because it's your fucking dumb email does say that.
No way.
Even more troubling, Twitch previously suspended all Israeli accounts for a year without public acknowledgement or explanation.
Suspended creation. All right, well, never mind then. All right, we'll just trim that part out of the VOD.
Yeah. Thousands of advertisers received that email where these guys openly and knowingly fucking lied to them. Okay? About a multi-million dollar platform. Again, this was in an attempt to trigger the adpocalypse, something that YouTube content creators like Moist Critical are very intimate at the time when it took place on YouTube. They hate that sort of thing, or used to hate that sort of thing. They never covered it when the adpocalypse was forcibly triggered, or at least attempted to be forcibly triggered by the likes of Ethan Klein, Sex Pastini, and Dan Saltman. None of them wrote about it. As a matter of fact, when they did cover it, they made it, I feel like the people that did end up covering it actually blamed me for it. Because that was their purpose, right? That was their goal. Their goal was Hasan gets favorable coverage from Twitch. He never gets banned. Here, we'll prove it to you. We'll prove it to you by getting advertisers to pull out of Twitch unless they ban Hasan.
Statement. 100%. He's not wrong for feeling like this is a terrible thing that's being said about him. That is a line you don't cross, talking about people's children in a manner like this. It's gross. It is gross. So then why is this defamation lawsuit reserved exclusively for iDubbbz with a nice big bow on it, but not also extended to Destiny, the genesis of that comment? Does that not just prove the point that I believe iDubbbz was trying to make in the first place, which is Destiny, for some reason, can say these atrocious, abhorrent things about Ethan, and for some reason, Ethan doesn't have the same anger towards Destiny as he does someone like iDubbbz. Now, I guess with iDubbbz, you could then say, well, iDubbbz...
I hope I've sufficiently explained to you why he doesn't have that same level of anger towards Sex Pastini, towards Epstein.
Actually did meet his children and stuff, so it's an extra level of fucked up, which is fair. I do completely agree. It does add another fucked up rancid layer to this lasagna here, where he did actually know Ethan and his family and would use a comment like that to try and make his statement about like being soft on Destiny or whatever. But I still just don't understand why Ethan is willing to just be like, yeah, but Destiny, cleared up that he wasn't being serious. He was just goofing around. He was just being a dickhead. What? If the reason truly is that Canada's laws around defamation are significantly more lax and thus you have a case in Canada but not the US, then to me that tells me that it's not really a defamation case worth pursuing. And if you're not going after Destiny for these comments, but you will for iDubbbz trying to make a different point about it, again, I want to make it clear. I think the way iDubbbz went about doing this point is fucking atrocious. I don't know how much more clear I can make, but he wasn't trying to argue the legitimacy of the claim or anything like that. It was to show that you're very soft on Destiny, but not others, and used that outrageously gross comment as an example of it. But if you're going after iDubbbz solely because you know you can get a defamation case win because of Canada's laws not being as protective as the US's, that's why you don't go after Destiny, then that to me says that you are just trying to take advantage of those laws, the lax nature of those laws in Canada, to get revenge on someone that has wronged you.
I said from the beginning that if people want to go after my children, then, the rules of engagement have changed forever. And that's what I said then. And when, when Ian broadcast this, I sent him a cease and desist because, there's certain things that you don't say and you don't do and lines you don't cross. And they flaunted it. They didn't take it seriously. And
I totally understand that. If someone is going to cross that line, going after like your children or your family, I get being upset about that. But you're saying that the rules of engagement have changed for everyone but Destiny? Because he is the one that made the comment, and you're like totally just okay with being like, but he cleared up that he wasn't serious. He cleared up he was just being a dickhead. It's just not making sense. And if iDubbbz throughout that stream segment was going on and on about how like actually serious this is and how much he really believes in it, trying to convince his audience that it's true, trying to like lead some kind of like investigation against you, like another CPS visit, like another fraudulent visit from CPS, then I would totally understand pursuing like litigation against that to stop it. Now, but from what I saw in that stream, there was nothing of the sort, and he did outright say that he doesn't believe it and that he was only saying that it should be addressed as a way of pointing to you not wanting to engage with Destiny because you're afraid of Destiny. At least that's how it seemed from all of that garbage I sat through there. I'm pretty sure that's what he was getting at. Now, he does mention a cease and desist here, which they did send a cease and desist to iDubbbz, and it does seem like iDubbbz was fucking filled with jubilation upon receiving it. I've seen a couple of clips where he was like really nonchalant about it, almost seemed kind of happy about it. Maybe he thought it'd be like a big boom of exposure or something. I really don't know who would celebrate something like that. But yeah, it seemed like he wasn't taking it seriously. And he did eventually come out and say like he really regrets doing this segment and like how bad it was, and that he did make like an apology for doing it, thinking he went too far. But it did take a while. And it's worth mentioning that his community, iDubbbz, like his stream chat and like the people watching iDubbbz, were not supportive of his actions with showing that comment and trying to make that point using something so heinous. It's not like his audience was eating it up and really celebrating what he did here. His own audience was turning against him for doing that, from what I saw. Now, again, I've only learned about all this after the fact, so maybe some of like the positive stuff was scrubbed or deleted. But a lot of what I can find was people in his audience really didn't agree with him doing this.
I don't see how you can say that I'm not.
Here, this is what I tweeted. I said, if you're wondering why these serial defamers never got sued by Ethan Klein, even though Epstein, not iDubbbz, is the one who initially claimed Ethan molested his children and doubled down, it's because Dan Stalkman, the one who realized he lied to thousands of advertisers triggering an apocalypse on Twitch, has been a financial sponsor of Ethan Klein's podcast, redact dev in parentheses. And they all support Israel and cyberstalk and harasses prominent critics online. Dan has openly fielded congresspeople to try and deplatform me for my pro-Palestinian advocacy. Of course, there was never a peep from the YouTube commentary community. They mostly supported it as terrorism support.
Justified when somebody's who's your former friend who's been to your house and met your children is broadcasting this as a silly, it's just silly. Ethan needs to address this little minor claim that he molested his own children.
Viva Mexico, Viva Mexico. Bust out the Mexico jersey. Ah, shit. First game, did Mexico win? Nice. La Raza on top. Bro loves to spill tea. Dog, someone has to be a fucking adult and actually accurately reflect on the events that have taken place in this sphere of influence that we are unfortunately a part of, because the reality of the matter is a lot of the loudest voices are unbelievably reactionary, and therefore the most dominant attitude in this sphere is always going to reflect that perspective. I'm basically like one of the only large content creators who actually is offering additional context to why these things are unfolding. Because all of the top content creators on YouTube don't want to touch to the 10-foot pole, partially because Israel, like the issue of Israel-Palestine is a part of it, and they don't want to say anything about it because they're terrified of being called anti-Semitic, because all of their sponsorships will be revoked, right? There is still that element. And then on top of that, they're genuinely worried, I think, about litigation, because Ethan has shown that he is unbelievably litigious, or even they're worried about getting fucking cyberstalked and harassed by some of these vicious communities. These communities are unbelievably vicious. Ethan constantly cries about snark. Meanwhile, he is the #1 snarker. I mean, Reddit. He went to Reddit and literally tried to get these communities taken down, these anonymous subreddits taken down, right? And Reddit straight up told him to his face, like, dog, your fucking community is snark. Your community. We'll take down those communities, but your community is also snark. Should we take down your community as well? Because that's precisely what it is. He uses his community as a mass harassment cyber stalking operation. Dude, when I was in fucking New Jersey, in Princeton, New Jersey, to promote and support Adam Hamawi, who was going to be the next congressperson from New Jersey 12. He won. When we did that rally that morning, at the hotel I was staying at, there was a wonderful and kind person that came up to me and was like, oh my God, I'm such a huge fan. I was like, wow, great. She was working the coffee shop. She told me that she used to watch all the time. She watched Leftovers, was a big fan. I didn't think much of it. And then later I found out she was posting in the subreddit being like, Hasan has showed up at my place of work. I'm freaking out right now. So even in the real world, when these people are kind to your face, like on the internet, when they go to Ethan's community, they're like, oh, what can I do? What kind of trickery could I engage in? It's like so shocking. It's kind of alarming to see that switch up, really. And she was such a wonderful person too. It actually shook me a little bit, that code switch.
File. Is that funny? I don't know. Is that a joke? Is that free speech? I don't think so. Then the other thing I hear is like, this is a grave threat against free speech. No, it's not. Defamation laws exist in every major Western country, because you can't just say people molested their children. That's not free speech. That's not protected speech.
And good.
It's not. It's not. It's defamation. It's defamation.
Thing iDubbbz didn't. That would be the comment that was left by someone else. So if that is the big problem, that this was said in the first place,
yeah. The problem is, it's not iDubbbz that made the defamatory statement.
Then wouldn't that energy be channeled at the person who actually said it? He's trying to portray it as though Ian is championing it, that he is trying to use this knowingly fraudulent information to push an agenda that Ethan is a monster, that does the unthinkable to his children. But when watching it, again, that's just not what he was saying. And he did outright say he doesn't believe it in the first place. He then goes into like, how is that a joke? Well, you just said that the person who left the comment, Destiny, was just joking, basically. He was just being a piece of shit. But he wasn't being serious. That was a goof. That doesn't make sense, man. So it was a joke when he wrote the comment, but it's not a joke when iDubbbz is trying to use it to shittily make a point. And it wasn't even making a joke about the comment itself, just more so that you weren't getting upset at Destiny for making it in the first place.
You can't accuse someone of committing a heinous crime. That's not, if they didn't, that's not free speech. That's not protected speech. It's literally not protected speech. It's actually explicitly carved out in the law as, you know, this is the legal route you take when someone defames you, right?
Ethan, of all people, should be very familiar with how defamatory lawsuits can be exploited by those with a lot of money. He was the guy that always fought on the right side of these kind of battles. And now in this case, I really think he's lost his way in that regard. What he is describing here is not even what iDubbbz did. He's talking about, you can't make these comments. That's not free speech. Destiny made the comment, man. Literally. And yet you're not going after him. You've already excused him, wrote it off as he wasn't being serious, a dickhead, and are instead going after iDubbbz, who was very shittily using it to make a very different point and even outright said he doesn't believe it, by the way. So it really feels less about the actual defaming and more about just being able to continue to, really drive the nail into iDubbbz, which is extremely unnecessary. His own community didn't agree with him when he did this. He lost members of his community for this because he was so in the wrong for it. Everyone was on your side when all of this was unfolding. So really, what else are you even trying to accomplish? Came out of that much worse. And he outright apologized for it, admitted how wrong he was for it, and everything like that eventually, which is a significantly bigger L than a legal one in the eyes of the internet, to be that wrong and that much on the wrong side of the drama. By every possible interpretation, you won here. You proved the claims were fraudulent, they were false, they're not real, and people were on your side in this whole situation here and against how iDubbbz had gone about trying to make this point. All you had to do was just leave it at that. But by making this lawsuit, you've now made a new issue out of it that is a concern and can affect other people entirely unrelated to it. And I'm honestly very surprised why Ethan can't see that. After all of the lawsuits he's been through, something like this should be very apparent how it can be used exploitatively against others, even outside of a case of this extreme degree. Ethan of 10 years ago, I think, would absolutely see that. But right now, I just think after everything that he's been through, he's just completely clouded by it and can't anymore. But now let's dive into the concern about how this can affect, free speech or discourse online, because Ethan is talking about how he doesn't understand how it could, because this is such an extreme thing that was said that's so gross. And he's right. This is a very gross thing that was said. And if iDubbbz was pressing it as a very legitimate thing and trying to make it seem like it's true to everyone, that kind of thing, then it would make a lot more sense to go this kind of route. Because that is something the snark community was doing with some really unhinged behavior. So that would make sense to me. but that's not what happened here. And the reason why this is concerning is because, let's say Ethan does win this lawsuit here, that then opens the door for other people to come in with less extreme shit. Like, yes, in this case, it is very over the top and gross. But defamatory statements aren't just this extreme level. Defamatory statements are very wide reaching. And this being something you can point to, like, okay, so it worked for Ethan. It can probably work for me against this guy who said this thing that actually damaged my brand. In Ethan's case, I think it'd be very hard to even prove damages in the first place. I don't know if that's something that's required by like Canadian law. I have no fucking clue at all. I know they don't have the same level of free speech protections or anything like that, so maybe that's not even a requirement or whatever. But I think it would be a Herculean task to prove that H3 had suffered like a reputational hit or a loss of revenue or a brand tanking because of iDubbbz's stream here. Because what has often been flexed by a lot of people is how H3 has thousands upon thousands of live viewers all the time, and iDubbbz would have like 100. So H3 being like 100x the size of iDubbbz, it would be very hard for anyone to point to and say, what iDubbbz did here really damaged the H3 brand, and here's the proof. We lost so many members on YouTube.
I can't believe this is what I spent the last hour going through, as we are about to head over to the DSA New York City Slate rally, where I will be speaking and delivering a fucking speech to this nation's young revolutionaries that are going to personally change the American trajectory in a positive manner. Why are you crying? What can I do but cry?
YouTube or something, like that's clearly not going to happen. But someone else absolutely could. Like something that a lot of people talk about online, like commentary YouTubers, I suppose will stay in that realm, is scammers. So why couldn't a scammer then utilize this same play? Okay, we can actually prove damages because they talked about, you know, a customer's terrible experience with us, and that was defamatory, and look at how much business it cost us, and it ruined our reputation. And I think you could possibly point to Ethan's lawsuit here, should he win, as evidence like, look, he got a defamation.
Noah's here, everybody. We should look at this fucking fit, dude. Look at you.
Look at you.
No, oh my God, Noah's wearing a suit too. Well, this is we're suit guys now. Okay, I'm watching Moist Critical cover offer critical coverage on. Dude, where the fuck is March, bro? March. Oh my God. No, we've been up all fucking morning. We had to shoot a podcast. I shot Fear and then I shot Majority Report. Then I did an interview with these guys that are doing a documentary. Hold on, I'm gonna fix everything. One second. I'm gonna put a mic on you. I don't know where the mics are, and I will sign it. Don't you worry. Okay.
Defamatory ruling in his favor after suing iDubbbz for something someone else said. So we are going to be suing this YouTuber for what this customer said that they talked about in their content that ruined our brand or took away some business. Because in a lot of commentary videos, the sources come from others, whether it's individuals or something else. So if you can sue for a reason like this and win, it does open up to exploitation from some bad actors. So yeah, while it is kind of extreme in what has happened here between iDubbbz and H3, I think you could very easily look at it and say, okay, if he can sue for what someone else said and was on his stream, why can't I sue for what someone else said that was in their content that I believe defamed me? And I just think that it does open the door to some problems. And I've seen the response is kind of split. In the commentary community, I thought it'd be unanimously, discouraged. For pretty obvious reasons, it has historically always been spit upon, but because it's now against someone people don't like, iDubbbz, they're okay with it and even laughing about it, which I just don't really get. I don't know how the lesson hasn't been learned that when something gets used against someone you don't like, it doesn't mean it's only ever going to be used against people you don't like. Once that can of worms is open, shit becomes the Wild West, and it can everybody. Like making an exception like, yeah, ooh, not good. I've always been really against YouTubers filing litigation against other content creators, but since it's iDubbbz, I'll be okay with it. Which I think is some pretty silly shit. I think the internet in its first